This page is the vibrant cover of the June 1991 issue of BeepMD magazine, featuring a whimsical, colorful robot character. The main highlight is a special feature on Terra, described as a report just before its release, focusing on this intriguing machine that offers compatibility between IBM PCs and the Mega Drive. The cover also previews coverage of several notable games including Alien Storm, Marvel Land, Arcus Odyssey, Blue Almanac, Bonanza Bros, The Fastest One, Master of Monsters, Shining and the Darkness, Fire Mustang, and Zero Wing. A separate supplement is advertised, focusing on Beep Mega Drive Jr. number 8, which provides a guide to the campaign mode of Advanced Daisenryaku, specifically the Blitzkrieg in Germany scenario. An interesting section at the bottom promotes enjoying professional baseball on the Mega Drive via Pro Yaku Van, noting the ability to view real-time baseball information using a modem, showcasing some of the early connectivity features available for the console in Japan. This page showcases the exciting Sega Terra Drive, presented here as the twin CPU personal computer, tying directly into the Terra feature highlighted on the previous cover. The page features the Sega logo, the prominent 2C graphic symbolizing the twin CPUs, and a dynamic image of a monitor displaying a screenshot from the iconic Sonic the Hedgehog, specifically a vibrant scene from Green Hill Zone. The text introduces the Terra Drive as the future of multimedia, combining amusement and computing. It's described as a machine where you can enjoy games, music, and graphics, shaped by Sega's vision. The Terra Drive is built upon a genuine IBM PC board running DOS/V, making it an international machine compatible with vast existing PC software, while also integrating Sega's technology for enhanced multimedia experiences, including incorporating video images and advanced graphics processing. Sega emphasizes its exhibition of this technology at upcoming shows in May 1991, positioning the Terra Drive as the gateway to new possibilities in computing and entertainment, utilizing the extensive software library already available worldwide. This page dives deeper into the Sega Terra Drive, the revolutionary twin CPU system first teased. Jointly developed with IBM Japan, this machine boasts both an 802.86 processor for PC compatibility and the familiar 68,000 chip from the Mega Drive. This unique fusion means it can run approximately 70,000 existing IBM PC software titles, supporting Japanese DOS/Versus and Japanese EMS Windows version 3.0, while also playing Mega Drive games directly. The concept is brilliant. A single computer capable of handling serious work tasks like word processing, as shown on the screen featuring a Windows interface, and offering pure gaming entertainment. The dual CPUs even allow for simultaneous use scenarios. Positioned as the future of amusement and computing, the Terra Drive promises versatility. It's scheduled for release at the end of May, with different models available at varying price points, bringing together the best of both PC and console worlds. The page features the model Yumi Takahashi alongside the hardware, highlighting its blend of intelligence and appeal. This page showcases an advertisement for the Sega Mega Drive title, Dino Land, developed by Wolf Team. The vibrant artwork features a prehistoric scene with animated dinosaurs, including a large purple pterodactyl, a small yellow creature, and a pair of green and pink dinosaurs. The game is described as a multi-layered action pinball experience set in the Jurassic period, allowing players to navigate across land, sea, and sky. Screenshots provide a top-down view of the gameplay, showing various creatures and pinball elements. The advertisement highlights the game's use of the Mega Drive's capabilities for impressive visuals and sound effects, along with dynamic environmental factors like natural disasters and weather changes. The music is composed by Ichiro Hara. Dino Land was scheduled for release in late June. This page features Arcus Odyssey, the third installment in the Arcus series, making its debut on the Mega Drive. Developed by Wolf Team, who were also featured on the previous page with Dino Land, this game is presented as a new world for action RPGs. The page features a striking illustration by Mutsumi Inomata, depicting a heroic character wielding a sword, facing off against a dragon and a mysterious dark figure. The narrative sets up a quest where peace is broken by the theft of the light demon sword's power, leading 4 heroes, Jada, Ellen, Diana, and Guido, to challenge an evil shrine as the legendary Blood Full Moon approaches. Screenshots provide a glimpse of the top-down action RPG gameplay. The game highlights key features, such as exciting SFX presentation, strategic elements like traps, a dynamic NPC support system, and the inclusion of two-player simultaneous co-op, described as white-hot twin battles. It also boasts large maps, thanks to an 8 megabit cartridge capacity, utilizing a water view perspective. Arcus Odyssey for the Mega Drive was scheduled for release on June 14th. This page promotes Valis SD, a surprising and comical spin-off from the dark fantasy action series. The striking illustration features chibi, super deformed versions of beloved characters like Yuko Asou, wielding her sword alongside Valina and Raiko, facing off against a chaotic collection of enemies and bosses from the Valis universe, all rendered in the same charming, exaggerated style. The text highlights that this is that Valis, now comical, emphasizing that you'll love Yuko again. It describes the popular character, Yuko, gaining more charm with rich, cute, and valiant expressions. The gameplay promises exciting action, where you'll defeat boss characters one after another. It's presented as a bright and comical take, a completely new world of Valis to thoroughly enjoy. Published by Nihon Telenet under their Lasersoft brand, the CD logo suggests this title is for a CD-ROM-based platform, likely the Mega CD, Sega CD. This page presents a look at two different Mega Drive titles. Prominently featured on the left is Elysia Dragoon, a side-scrolling action title. The striking artwork depicts the protagonist, Elysia, unleashing a powerful attack alongside a fearsome dragon companion, hinting at the game's core mechanic of commanding elemental creatures. The text introduces Elysia as a beautiful lightning sorceress warrior, and emphasizes her partnership with her monsters, promising a tale driven by thunderous excitement and action across 13 stages. On the right side, a re-release is announced for Katayama Masayuki no Mahjong Dojo, a mahjong game based on the popular manga. The accompanying cartoon art style is instantly recognizable, and the announcement simply states that the game, exclusive to the Mega Drive, is finally back in stock, listing its standard price and room size. This page offers a snapshot of the varied game library available, from intense fantasy action to a popular mahjong adaptation. This page features the dynamic cover artwork for the Mega Drive title, Wrestle Wars. The striking illustration depicts two combatants locked in intense action on a city street, capturing the raw energy of the game's fighting mechanics. On the left, a powerful, muscular fighter in boxing gloves is shown, while on the right, a martial artist delivers a high kick, showcasing the varied fighting styles players can expect. The prominent Japanese text across the image translates to, All Japan Martial Arts Tournament Wrestle Wars begins, clearly announcing the game. The Mega Drive logo is visible in the top left corner, confirming the platform. Additional text nearby indicates that this is a licensed software product for the Sega Mega Drive. The copyright at the bottom confirms the publisher as Treco, and the year 1991. This page serves as a vibrant introduction to Wrestle Wars, highlighting its focus on diverse martial arts action. This page is an advertisement for the game Street Smart. It features a large, dynamic illustration of two fighters in a street setting. Above the artwork is the game's title logo, Street Smart, in both English and Japanese. The page announces the game is scheduled for a July release, with the price yet to be determined. The text explains that skilled fighters from around the world gather in America to compete for $1 million prize. It specifically highlights the playable characters, karate expert Tsutomu Amano with his burst fist, and wrestler John Schneider with his spinning cyclone kick. The screenshots showcase the game's environments and characters in action. The advertisement concludes by asking, who will become the champion and claim the prize, promising spectacular battles. The publisher, Treco, is listed at the bottom, along with their contact information. This page showcases UCHUU Senkan Gamora, a strategic hard metal shooting game. The prominent artwork features a large, heavily armed spacecraft set against a backdrop of space debris and stars. Below the main illustration, two smaller screenshots display the gameplay, showing the player's ship battling enemies in different environments. The game is scheduled for release in July 91, with an estimated price of 7,500 yen. Key features highlighted include the ability to penetrate all enemies with a superconductive particle cannon, and the growth of your ship as you increase your life. The game also promises the appearance of the God of Destruction Gamora on planet Atrantal, posing questions about his purpose and mission within the narrative. Beyond standard one-player and two-player competitive modes, UCHUU Senkan Gamora introduces a unique new system, allowing two players to cooperate in controlling a single ship, adding a strategic layer to the gameplay. The game is developed and published by Whoopee Label. This page presents a declaration of the computer age from Bantan Computer Information Institute, previously part of Bantan Design Institute. The institute is dedicated to cultivating human resources for the upcoming 21st Century Computer Society, offering expanded courses starting from the 1992 recruitment year. Highlighted new fields include sound creation, amusement robot and toy design, information communication systems, system engineering, audio-visual coordination, and multimedia creation. The Computer Creation Department, which trains game software creators, is also a key focus. The institute covers a wide range of disciplines, from visual design and interior architecture to various facets of information technology and business. They are hosting a free creative experience seminar for beginners on May 26th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., and you can call 033-719-3511 for details. This page showcases the Mega Drive RPG, Blue Almanac. Described as a super authentic RPG with an original story, the main image features a central hero in a blue hue holding a magical book, flanked by a woman with a sword and menacing alien-like figures, set against a cosmic and rocky landscape. Key features highlighted include full animation with multi-scrolling effects, independent character and background movement, and gameplay elements designed for action-like excitement. Magic spells are noted for being realized through voice synthesis, adding to the game's appeal, which is tagged as Epic Genesis. The page announces the game's release on May 25th at a price of 8,700 yen, excluding tax. Additionally, a companion CD was released simultaneously for 2,500 yen, including tax. The title was published by Kodansha Soken. This page features the fantasy war simulation game, Master of Monsters, for the Mega Drive. The dominant artwork depicts an intense battle between a Dark Lord mounted on a fierce dragon-breathing fire and a winged angelic warrior amid a storm and the destruction of a castle. The game is presented as a struggle for the Master of Monsters' throne in a magical fantasy world. Highlights include music supervised by the legendary Koichi Sugiyama, an original AI specifically for the Mega Drive version, dynamic battle animations, clear character growth mechanics, and a proprietary system designed for high-speed gameplay. Shown are gameplay screenshots featuring the strategic hex map and a close-up battle view. The game was scheduled for release in late July 1991, with a planned price of 7,800 yen before tax. This page showcases the upcoming Mega Drive port of the popular arcade horizontal shooter, Zero Wing. The artwork prominently features the player's ship, the Zig, in the foreground against a dark, abstract blue backdrop, hinting at the game's deep space setting. The game was originally scheduled for release on April 26th, but was postponed to the end of May, for which the developers apologize, stating they are working to make it a better game. It is priced at 8,000 yen, tax excluded, and comes on an 8 Mega ROM cartridge. Key features highlighted include its nature as a complete and faithful port of the arcade hit, and the adoption of an innovative gameplay mechanic, where players can catch enemies to use as a shield or throw them as an attack hit. This unique feature sets it apart, and it is described as a distinctive title among Toplin's shooting games. The page includes the memorable tagline, "Catch it, throw it, hit. Destroy it, new space battle legend," at the side. Information at the bottom confirms the game is developed by Toplan Company, Limited. This page features the evocative cover art for the Sega Mega Drive RPG, Trei Seiya. Developed by Telenet Japan, the artwork depicts a young boy overlooking a vast, mysterious landscape, while the face of a girl is shown reflected in an ornate mirror above him, hinting at the game's narrative themes. Vertical Japanese text accompanies the illustration, appearing to be flavor text or a brief passage setting the scene, perhaps describing the protagonist's thoughts or the world he inhabits. The Mega Drive logo is prominently displayed at the bottom left, confirming the platform. The page serves as an atmospheric introduction to the game, showcasing its distinct visual style and suggesting a journey or quest awaits the player. This page features a selection of books from SoftBank Publishing, primarily focused on RPGs and gaming culture. The first two books are encyclopedias for RPG fans, delving into the origins of fantasy elements in myths and medieval stories, with the second book focusing specifically on Japanese fantasy derived from historical texts like the Kiki. There's also a book aimed at aspiring game designers, providing setting material for creating RPG worlds, characters, and items. Another book is a collection of essays and discussions by Koichi Sugiyama, the famous composer of the Dragon Quest series, covering his thoughts on various games, from retro titles to Famicom, even touching on gambling. Finally, a book dedicated to pinball machines, featuring essays by renowned authors like Haruki Murakami and Koichi Sugiyama, offers a look at the history and practice of pinball in Japan. This page is a striking promotional image for the Mega Drive game Beast Warriors, featuring a terrifying monster standing over a defeated opponent, and the tagline, "Now the battles begin." This page presents content from two Japanese computer magazines, OX for X68000X1 and MZ users, and OFM for Towns and FM series users, both featuring their May issues. The OX section highlights the anticipated new X68000 XVI model, boasting a 16 MHz clock speed and enhanced SX window capabilities. It also promotes a special floppy disk appendix, Golden Week Pro 68K, packed with system tools, entertainment like the 3D shooting game session, shown in a wireframe screenshot, utilities, and SX window software, all compressed for density. The OFM section focuses on the Fujitsu platforms, featuring a look at 5 major adventure games debuting that spring, including titles like Orgel, Golden Compass, and the classic Sherlock Holmes, with a portrait image likely from one of these titles. Another key article compares the lightweight RCARD with IC memory cards, presented as essential items for the era. The magazine also includes detailed reports on new software releases. Both magazines are priced at 780 yen for OX and 560 yen for OFM, releasing monthly on the 18th. This page is a bold, minimalist advertisement for the classic shooting game, Midnight Resistance. The title, Kuga, as it's known in Japan, dominates the bottom half of the page in large white text. Developed and published by Telenet Japan, the ad proudly proclaims it's dedicated to all shooting fans, and is set for release in late July, priced at 8,400 yen, excluding tax, on an 8 megabit cartridge. There are no screenshots or character images shown, just the striking title and key information on a deep blue background, focusing entirely on announcing the game's impending arrival. Beep! Mega Drive magazine's 1991 issues provided a snapshot of the Sega Mega Drive's early years. The February issue announced the Mega Drive Academy Awards and featured a guide for buying games. March's issue embraced a Valentine's theme and discussed RPGs. April highlighted the Genesis console with a user survey, while May featured PC Drive Terra and an AOU show report. Games consistently reviewed included Shining and the Darkness, Blue Almanac, Arcus Odyssey, and Zero Wing. Other notable titles covered were Bonanza Bros., Landstalker, Valis 2i, Midnight Resistance, Langrisser, Dick Tracy, Battle Golfer Yui, Joe Montana Football, and Znoog, Zany Golf. The magazine, priced at 480 yen, catered to a diverse audience with coverage spanning RPGs, simulations, action, and sports games, reflecting the growing Mega Drive library. This page features an announcement for the Game Gear title, Griffin, developed by Telenet Japan under their Renovation game label. The central image showcases the protagonist, a blue-haired anime girl named Mint, standing beside the game's titular main battle tank. The accompanying text details the game's premise. The Griffin tank's evaluation test is interrupted when the test site is attacked by the forces of Country 1, and Mint's grandfather, the chief designer, is kidnapped. Taking control of the Griffin, Mint embarks on a mission to rescue her grandfather and fight for the survival of her nation. The page confirms Griffin is a shooting game for the Game Gear, scheduled for release in late June 1991 at a price of 3,800 yen. This page is the table of contents for the June 1991 issue of Beep Mega Drive. It lays out the features within, starting with the New Work Scramble on page 34, highlighting upcoming titles like Wanderers from YS, Thunder Force, Wrestle War, Streets of Rage, SD Valis, Beast Warriors, Jewel Master, Megatrax, Wall of Berlin, and Saint Sword. Following this is the multi-part B Mega Hot Menu series, across pages 42, 62, and 89, reviewing new releases. Part 1 covers classics like Alien Storm and Marvel Land. Part 2 delves into Art Alive. Part 3 features Blue Almanac, Bonanza Bros, Fastest One, Master of Monsters, Phantasy Star IV, Shining and the Darkness, and Zero Wing. Page 73 offers a special feature exploring Terra and its connection to IBM PCs, while page 70 discusses enjoying professional baseball games using the Mega Drive and the Mega Modem for real-time info, titled Pro Yaku Van. There's also mention of an appendix for Advanced Daisen Ryaku, Blitzkrieg, and how to approach its campaign mode. Page 82 showcases a popular feature called Hot-Blooded Mega Drive Declaration, with human, accompanied by screenshots from relevant games. The right side lists various regular columns covering news, reader contributions, reviews, and specific game topics. This page dives into the sales numbers, presenting the shop data for both Mega Drive and Game Gear software. Starting with the Mega Drive Top 10, the big news is the absolute dominance of Shining in the Darkness, which shot straight to number 1 with a massive lead, despite only being released a few days before the data was collected. This RPG clearly resonated strongly with players, hinting at the genre's potential on the system. Coming in second is Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, riding the wave of the popular anime and showing impressive staying power. Sega's Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse remains a fan favorite, holding strong at number 3, and proving that quality platformers with iconic characters can boost hardware adoption. Further down the chart, we see consistent sellers like the strategy titles Bahamut Senki and Super Daisen Ryaku, with a note about Advanced Daisen Ryaku coming soon. Classic arcade ports like Midnight Resistance, and sports staples like Super Volleyball and Joe Montana Football. The fantasy action of Valis 2 rounds out the top 10. The Game Gear Top 5 highlights Super Monaco GP at the top, followed closely by the handheld version of Castle of Illusion. Arcade racers like Glock Air Battle and Chase H.Q. are popular, alongside the timeless puzzle game columns. The write-up notes that while new Gear games are released regularly, the top sellers aren't seeing huge shifts, suggesting the need for some truly breakout hits on the portable system. This data analysis examines the Mega Drive's desired game ports and current shop bestsellers. User data, specifically the desired ports top 20, reveals player demand for classic arcade and RPG titles. Final Fight leads the wish list, alongside Legend of Valkyries, Dragon Slayer, YS Series, World Stadium, Populous, and others, showcasing a diverse taste. Shop data, Video Game Top 5, highlights current sales. Driver's Eye and Final Lap 2 are the top sellers. Surprisingly, 2 quiz games, Quiz Shukudai wo Wasare Mashita and Quiz Tonosama no Yabu, occupy top spots, indicating a genre's unexpected popularity. Space Gun completes the top 5. The analysis notes a contrast between player desires and current sales, highlighting the success of quiz games in the marketplace. This page delves into user data, specifically ranking the desired new games top 20, showing what upcoming titles Mega Drive owners are most anticipating. Contrasting with the previous page's focus on desired ports and current sales, this list highlights excitement for brand new experiences. While the strategic simulation Advanced Military Commander holds the top spot, the big story is Sonic the Hedgehog making an incredible leap to number 2, demonstrating huge anticipation for Sega's new character-driven action game, with its noted speed and energetic gameplay reminiscent of classic cartoons. Other highly anticipated titles in the top 5 include the stylish Bonanza Bros, with its unique graphic style, Alien Storm offering arcade-style shooting action likened to Golden Axe's feel, and Arcus Odyssey, described as leaning more towards action than a traditional RPG. The list continues with other notable upcoming games players are looking forward to, such as Outrun, Elysia Dragoon, Zero Wing, Raiden, and YS2I. This page presents upcoming software schedules for both the Mega Drive and the Game Gear, listing titles, anticipated release dates, prices, publishers, genres, and memory sizes. There's a substantial list for each console detailing what players can look forward to. The editorial section highlights the post-Golden Week period, seeing a surge of new software. The team discusses the state of upcoming titles, mentioning the port of Power Drift, which they feel isn't quite ready yet based on the feeling they got from checking it out. The big news, however, is the sudden reveal of Galaxy Force 2, which threw back its veil unexpectedly. A screenshot from the game is shown, and the editors promise a detailed introduction in the next issue. They also hint at upcoming Crodrom titles potentially being unveiled soon. Game developers and publishers are sharing updates on upcoming titles. Sega delayed Advanced Military Commander to June 21st. Kodansha Soken pushed Blue Almanac to June 22nd. Toei Plan delayed Zero Wing to May 31st. Taito is working on Fire Mustang for a summer release. Victor Musical Industries released Squash for Game Gear. Namco's Mappy for Game Gear is set for May 24th. Human is nearing release for Fast Stone and Fire Pro Wrestling Gaiden. Micronet seeks help for Raiden Densetsu. Reno Nihon Telenet plans multiple releases, including Valis and YS2I. Wolf Team highlights Arc Royal, with a June 14th final battle. Kaneko is bringing the Berlin Wall to Game Gear. Treco mentions Street Smart, Task Force Harrier X updates, and a new shooting game. UPL debuts on Mega Drive with UCHUU Senkan Gomorrah. Paulsoft introduces Undead Line. This page features the BeepMD race, a comparison of 3 new releases. First up is Bonanza Bros, an action game released on May 17th. It's described as a fun, comical action title with good graphics, earning an average score of 7.25 from the reviewers. Next is Blue Almanac, an RPG released on June 22nd. While the opening is praised, the overall game flow and combat are found somewhat lacking, leading to a lower average score of 5.75. Finally, there's Advanced Military Commander, German Blitzkrieg Operation, a simulation game released on June 21st. This title is seen as a highly detailed and complex simulation aimed at genre fans. Its depth and fidelity, particularly the visual presentation and sound, are highlighted as strong points, resulting in the highest average score of 8.0. The reviewers offer their individual takes on each game, contributing to the overall ratings. This page features the BeepMD race, where 3 new games are reviewed and ranked by average score. First up is Firearms Mustang, a vertical shooter from Taito released on May 31st. Based on the screenshot, it's a WW2-themed plane shooter. Reviewers found it a solid, well-made game, with appropriate difficulty, though perhaps lacking strong originality. It received an average score of 6.5. Next is Squeak, an action puzzle game from Victor, already on sale. The screenshot shows a colorful block-based puzzle with cute characters. It's described as a simple, easy-to-play puzzle that's good for casual fun, though some felt it lacked depth. The average score was 5.75. Finally, there's Mappy, Namco's classic arcade game ported to the system, released on May 24th. The screenshot shows the familiar house layout. Reviewers felt it was a faithful and nostalgic port, but questioned aspects like the screen size difference, or new modes, feeling they detracted slightly from the original charm. It scored an average of 6.5. The reviews offer individual takes on each title, contributing to the overall ranking. This page reviews 3 games: Firearms Mustang, Shooter, Squeak, Puzzle, and Mappy, Arcade Port, offering scores and reviewer comments in the BeepMD Race section. The BeepMD Reader Race, Volume 3, showcases reader-ranked Mega Drive games. Mickey Mouse, Castle of Illusion tops the list. Reviews highlight various games, including Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, Third, praised for its adaptation, but criticized for its password system. Bahamut Senki, 8th, is lauded for its strategy mechanics and world-building. Super Daisen Ryaku, 10th, offers extensive gameplay. Afterburner 2, 17th, impresses with its visuals and sound. Outside the main ranking, Space Harrier 2, 57th, is noted for its technical achievement, and Super League, 60th, is praised for its presentation. The feature offers a snapshot of reader opinions on the Mega Drive's game library. This page continues the BeepMD Reader Race, showcasing more reader-submitted rankings and reviews for Sega Mega Drive games. Under single-hole introduction, Gainug, ranked 29th, receives a reader score of 7.1076, slightly higher than the magazine's 7.0, with varied opinions on its visuals but praise for its flashy presentation. Phantasy Star IV, Generations of Doom, at 51st with a reader score of 6.3048 and magazine 8.5, is noted for disappointments regarding features, but positive comments on its music. The new horse introduction features Joe Montana Football, debuting at 12th, with reader and magazine scores around 7.9 and 7.7 respectively, highlighted for its realism. Conversely, Super Thunderblade is listed under loose betting ticket introduction at 79th, with low scores, 5.1387 reader, 5.0 magazine, criticized for poor gameplay despite decent visuals. Dick Tracy is also briefly featured. The editorial wrap-up mentions the fluctuating ranks, and looks forward to upcoming games like Shining in the Darkness in the next reader race. This page covers the latest news and information, starting with a preview of the 91 Tokyo Toy Show. This annual event, while primarily for toys, is crucial for the game industry, as many software makers, especially those for the Mega Drive, use it to showcase their upcoming titles. Sega itself is exhibiting, along with others like Technosoft and Palsoft, whose game Undeadline is specifically shown. Excitingly, the article mentions that Sega is expected to exhibit the Mega Drive Crowdrum unit there. The show takes place from June 6th to 9th, with public access on Sunday, June 9th, for 500 yen. Following the show preview, there's big news regarding the Terra Drive, the hybrid PC/Mega Drive system. Its release date has been set for May 31st, and the article enthusiastically announces the price for the base model has dropped below 150,000 yen. The Type 1 model, 1 floppy drive, will sell for 148,000 yen. The Type 2, 2 floppy drives, for 188,000 yen, and the high-end Type 3, hard disk plus floppy drive, for 248,000 yen. Considering its capabilities, the article posits these prices are quite reasonable compared to standard specs. Peripherals like the dedicated display and mouse are priced at 79,800 yen and 6,800 yen respectively. The Terra Drive system itself is pictured, looking sharp. This edition of the Mega Drive News features several exciting updates. Denpa Shimbunshi has released the XEIST2 joystick, a 9-pin compatible controller for the Mega Drive, PC 9800, and X68000. A comic adaptation of Wolf Team's upcoming game, El Viento, will begin in the July issue. Namco is holding a contest for Final Lap 3, where players can submit course ideas to be included in the game. Stateside, Troma and Namco are collaborating to release the Kabuki Man film on video. Finally, a report from the Japan Telenet Game Festa highlights the announcement of 7 upcoming Mega Drive titles, including YS2I, Wanderers from YS, Exile, and Valis 2I. Air Diver from Data East is also slated for a July release, with hints of more CD-ROM titles in the future. This page dives into the fascinating topic of female characters in Sega Mega Drive games up to April 1991. The article explores the question of how often women appear and how they are portrayed, noting a feeling of unreasonableness in their depiction compared to male characters. The magazine took on the task of investigating this by compiling a comprehensive list. The main feature is a large table detailing various games released across 1989, 1990, and 1991. For each game, it lists the female characters present, their role, such as protagonist, assistant, enemy, their fashion or appearance, the game's genre, and the publisher. It's a detailed look at the presence of female characters across the system's early library. The article then analyzes the data presented in the table. Out of 111 games released by the deadline, 56 featured female characters, totaling around 120 individuals. The analysis breaks down their roles, finding that the most common roles were protagonists or ally fighting alongside the player, followed by enemies. It also touches on fashion trends, noting that long hair was the most prevalent hairstyle. The piece concludes that examining this data provided surprising and interesting insights into the representation of women in Mega Drive games during this period. This page delves further into the presence of female characters in Sega Mega Drive games by examining several specific examples. A core concept presented is a diagram classifying characters based on 2 axes: necessity versus taste, reflecting the game's world needs versus developer preference, and protagonist versus sub-character. Highlighted characters include Nadia from Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, discussed as an anime adaptation, and the Race Queen from Super Monaco GP. The powerful Tyrese from Golden Axe is noted for her impactful, physique-focused design. Burning Force's Hiromi Tengenji and Lesul Ball's Lesul Girl represent future settings with limited descriptive depth. MYU from Phantasy Star II Generations of Doom is recognized for her unique RPG abilities, while Yuko from Valis 2i and Yakko from Monster Hunter Yakko are placed high on the taste axis for their distinct designs and settings. Artemis from Furios is also categorized as a character designed more for taste rather than necessity, especially noting her chained appearance. The article concludes by clarifying that deeming something unreasonable in game design isn't necessarily negative. It asserts that a game's fun factor and its level of unreasonableness are separate. Games exist primarily for enjoyment. If a solid setting complements the fun, it makes for a quality game, a message directed towards the developers. This page presents a look at upcoming Mega Drive titles in the new release Scramble section, prominently featuring YS2i, Wanderers from YS. This is the latest installment in the highly popular YS action RPG series, known for its hits on various personal computer platforms, and later ported to consoles like the PC Engine. The article highlights the Mega Drive port of YS2i, published by Nihon Telenet and scheduled for an October release on an 8mm cartridge. Key points discussed include the graphics, which are improved from the MSX2 version with increased colors, and smooth scrolling and maps, expected to be close to the quality of the Sharp X68000 version. The audio is also anticipated to retain the quality of the original PC-88 version. A significant change in YS2i is the gameplay perspective, shifting from the top-down view of YSI and 2 to a side view, enhancing the action elements. The reviewer notes that this change makes the action more intense. The page includes 4 screenshots showcasing the Mega Drive version's graphics and different gameplay environments, such as a town, a bridge, a cave, and mountains, demonstrating the side view perspective and detailed backgrounds. The article expresses strong anticipation for the Mega Drive version, suggesting it will deliver the fun of the original PC release. The page also briefly lists other upcoming titles previewed in this section, including popular games like Raiden, Wrestle War, Streets of Rage, Fatal Fury, Valis, and Saint Sword, among others. The next page dives deeper into Raiden, the classic arcade shooter. Having played this countless times in arcades, it's great to see the Mega Drive port getting attention. The article details the core mechanics: the main weapon, shot, sub-weapon, missile, and bombs. It explains how collecting items powers up your main weapon through 8 levels, with the color determining if you get the wide-spreading Vulcan or the focused laser. Sub-weapons include the forward-firing nuclear missile and the seeking homing missile, both with multiple power-up stages. Bombs deliver a massive blast, clearing the screen of enemies and bullets, essential for survival in tough spots. The page then takes us through the first 3 stages, showcasing the diverse environments. Stage 1 is a deceptively peaceful rural scene. But don't get distracted by the moving scenery. Staying focused on collecting those crucial power-ups is key. Stage 2 shifts to a ruined urban landscape, with enemy structures built onto elevated highways, adding verticality and multiple attack angles with its layered scrolling. Finally, Stage 3 is an intense battle over the sea, featuring numerous enemy facilities and relentless attacks from all directions: front, back, sides, even from below and above. Text correctly points out there's absolutely no safe zone here. The screenshots effectively illustrate the different weapon types in action and the distinct visual style of each stage. This looks like a solid arcade conversion. This page introduces the Mega Drive port of Sega's wrestling game, Wrestle War, originally an arcade title from 1989. This port is highlighted as a faithful conversion, capturing the authentic feel of professional wrestling with large character sprites and impressive techniques. The article expresses anticipation for this game, noting the lack of information since its initial announcement. It confirms that the port successfully reproduces the dynamic action and visible wrestling moves seen in the arcade version. Basic controls are explained as 8-direction movement, along with dedicated buttons for punching, kicking, and grappling. A key mechanic involves button mashing. When grappling, a power meter appears, and rapidly pressing buttons allows players to execute powerful special moves like piledrivers and German suplexes. This button mashing is also crucial for countering holds when grabbed by an opponent. The game features both a single-player mode, where you challenge 8 different wrestlers, and a 2-player versus mode. A unique and entertaining aspect is the possibility of falling outside the ring, which results in damage. Players must quickly mash buttons to recover and get back into the action, adding to the excitement. The screenshots showcase various in-game situations, including standard grappling, special moves, and characters outside the ring. This port looks set to deliver intense, over-the-top wrestling action. This page introduces the highly anticipated Sega title, Bare Knuckle, known internationally as Streets of Rage. Scheduled for a July 19th release, this action game thrusts 3 former police officers into a city overrun by a crime syndicate. The article immediately highlights its strong resemblance to Final Fight, but notes smoother character animations and the unique 2-player cooperative techniques as key differentiators that elevate it beyond a simple clone. The 3 main characters are Axel Stone, listed as Yurufu, Blaze Fielding, listed as Birezu, and Adam Hunter, listed as Hoku. Each is an ex-cop driven to take down the syndicate that corrupted their city. The page details their individual profiles, mentioning their fighting styles: boxing for Axel, martial arts for Adam, judo for Blaze, and even hobbies. A significant feature discussed is the co-op technique, illustrated with screenshots showing one player throwing another or using them as a projectile. The article promises more variations of these moves. Additionally, the special attack system is explained, allowing players to call for a police car to provide limited use, screen-clearing support fire, a tactic reflecting their former profession. The sound, handled by the renowned Yuzo Koshiro, is praised for fitting the game's atmosphere and adding to its appeal, suggesting it could become a major action hit alongside the Super Shinobi. The screenshots display intense street brawls and the devastating police car special move. This page features the arrival of Namco's baseball game, Kyukai Duchuki, on the Mega Drive. Announced the previous year, this title is highlighted as being different from Namco's well-known Famista series. The unique twist here is the inclusion of characters from the game Yokai Duchuki, known internationally as Shadowland or Legend of Valkyrie, giving it a distinctly quirky flavor compared to a straight simulation. Despite the unusual characters, the core baseball mechanics are said to be based on the familiar Famista system. The game boasts a significant amount of content, featuring 6 leagues and a total of 39 teams. A notable aspect is the variety of stadiums shown, ranging from a standard dome and natural grass fields to more exotic locations like one covered in ice, or even one built on the deck of a ship. The article touches on the gameplay and player stats, suggesting a mix of traditional baseball play with these unique elements, creating a different kind of fun experience. This page previews SD Valis, a super deformed action game starring Yuko and Beast Wrestler, Death Duel, a unique monster fighting game. First up is SD Valis, a cute, chibi-style take on the classic Valis series from Telenet. It retains the side-scrolling action gameplay, but focuses on visual scenes and accessible design, making it enjoyable even for those new to action games. They'll collect items like various weapons with different attack patterns and power-up levels, plus 6 types of costumes that boost stats like speed and defense. The game also boasts over 100 character expressions and impressive giant boss encounters. A nice touch is keeping your items and power-ups even after losing a life, making it more forgiving. Below that is Beast Warriors, the provisional title for what became Beast Wrestler, Death Duel. Set in the near future where genetic engineering creates artificial monsters, this game presents a new type of fighting technique performed by these creatures. It features tournament and 2-player match modes. Character development includes RPG elements like training, buying items from a shop, and uniquely, synthesizing with defeated opponents' cells to power up your base abilities and techniques. The fighting style is described as different from human wrestling, with no concepts like fouls or rope breaks, relying instead on powerful special moves from the monsters. The graphics and presentation are highlighted as particularly impactful. Previewing 3 upcoming games: Jewel Master, Megatrax, and the Berlin Wall. Jewel Master is an action game where a spirit user fights monsters using elemental rings, earth, water, fire, wind, for attacks. Players can equip 2 rings per hand, leading to diverse attack combinations. Screenshots showcase gameplay and boss fights. Megatrax is an off-road racing game inspired by 4 tracks. It offers 16 courses with elevation changes and 2-player split-screen support, focusing on jumps, drifts, and crashes. The Berlin Wall is an action puzzle game blending Lode Runner and Hyenkyo Alien, where players dig holes to trap monsters. The game's standout feature is its historical backgrounds depicting scenes from the Berlin Wall. The next page kicks off with a look at Saint Sword, an action game set for release on June 28th. The premise involves the protagonist, Maclus, transforming into 4 different forms: human, Centaurus, Birdman, and Fishman, each with unique strengths and weaknesses. to battle demons. The game features 7 rounds, including locations like Demon Cave and Warrior's Grave, with the final Demon Castle being notably large. Screenshots showcase the varied environments and character forms in action. Below that is a rapid-fire preview section. First up is Technosoft's Dragon's Fury, the Mega Drive version of the popular pinball game originally known as Alien Crush's sequel. It promises grotesque visuals and high-score action, expected around August. Next is NCS's RPG Sorcerer's Kingdom, showing a clean, Phantasy Star-like screenshot, though its release is still some time away. Taito's action title Thunder Fox also gets a quick look with a gameplay screenshot, with more details promised next month for this summer release. Finally, several upcoming titles from Nippon Telenet and associated developers are mentioned, including fan favorites like YS2I, Wanderers from YS, Valis, and Exile, with genres ranging from RPG to action and ARPG, all slated for late 1991. This page dives into Sega's action-packed arcade port, Alien Storm, released on June 28 for 6,000 yen. This title takes the core side-scrolling beat-em-up action, reminiscent of Golden Axe, and injects 2 additional distinct gameplay styles, making for a varied experience. Players will face off against alien invaders in standard action scenes, switch to a first-person 3D perspective for clearing out buildings, and jump into high-speed horizontal scrolling shooting segments as they chase down fleeing enemies. The game is structured across 8 missions, with the action segments kicking things off in each one. The 3D indoor shooting shows up early and late in the game, while the high-scroll shooting adds a fast-paced chase sequence in missions 2 and 6. Adding further depth, the game includes a duel mode, similar to the one found in Golden Axe, where players challenge consecutive waves of enemies in a one-on-one or one-against-many format until defeated. The screenshots showcase these different modes, from character selection and standard beat-em-up action to the indoor shooting and the high-speed street battles, giving a good overview of the diverse gameplay Alien Storm offers. This page delves deeper into the heroes and mechanics of Alien Storm. It introduces the 3 playable characters: Gordon, a weapons expert, likely ex-military; Carla, a mysterious woman who favors the flamethrower; and Scooter, a waiter robot packed with hidden weapons. Each character has unique strengths and fighting styles, tailored for battling the alien threat. The page then breaks down the core controls and special moves. Standard attacks are detailed, noting how the game automatically selects the best weapon based on the enemy. Rolling and a Golden Axe-like flying attack are explained, along with dashing maneuvers and dash attacks for quick movement and offense. Jumping and mid-air attacks are also covered. Finally, the powerful special attack, called Energy here, is highlighted, capable of clearing the screen, but at the cost of energy, which is vital and depletes during normal weapon use. It's crucial to pick up energy units in the 3D sections, as running out limits you to weaker physical attacks. The article also gives a heads up about weapon depletion in 3D and high-scroll sections, adding a layer of challenge. This page details the initial missions of Alien Storm, starting with Mission 1, where you encounter humans fleeing aliens, noting some are actually disguised enemies. The action part is quick, but the 3D section in the poultry farm offers a surprising challenge. Breaking boxes here yields items and energy for your special attacks. Mission 2 takes the fight to a residential area. The boss, Opresas, is highlighted as a surprisingly tough early enemy. The reviewer advises wisely using credits, especially in 2-player mode, where you start with only 4 continues. The latter part shifts to a side-scrolling shooter section, perhaps too simple for seasoned arcade players. Mission 3 depicts the alien invasion reaching the city, causing chaos. It's crucial to eliminate enemies hiding in manholes and shop windows. The 3D part is a destructive raid on a convenience store, encouraging players to shoot everything in sight without worrying about property damage. Finally, Mission 4 is presented as the aliens' counterattack, a desperate battle with no retreat. Players must push forward carefully, minding their ammunition. The 3D section takes place in an electronics store, leading to a showdown with a boss that emerges from a monstrous mouth. The reviewer humorously notes the extensive destruction of electronics, but justifies it for peace. This page dives into Marvel Land, an action game originally released in arcades in 1989 and brought to the Mega Drive. The game successfully captures the feel of being in an amusement park, transporting the arcade's signature rotating screen effect smoothly onto the console. The Mega Drive version also boasts increased content, unique new characters, and the convenience of a password continue system for extended play sessions within the park. The story unfolds in the peaceful Coneyland, where the antagonist Maul takes over the central amusement park, Marvel Land, and captures 4 guardian spirits. Prince Paco, a familiar figure to one of the captured spirits, bravely ventures into Marvel Land to reclaim it. Gameplay basics are introduced, focusing on Prince Paco's movements. The primary attack is stomping on enemies' heads, though some foes are immune. A key technique involves Paco's clones, which appear behind him and enable a rolling attack by hitting the down button, damaging enemies around him. Acquiring the wing item grants higher jumps and temporary flight by rapidly pressing the jump button. Special items include Lucky, which increases the number of helpful clones, and the classic Namco 1-up flag. Be cautious of the skull item, which reduces clones, and the dreaded Devil Mark, which strips away all power-ups on hard difficulty. Getting familiar with these mechanics and items is crucial for navigating Marvel Land. This page explores the early areas of Marvel Land, specifically World 1's Flower Country. Area 11 serves as a fundamental practice ground to master basic stomping techniques and get accustomed to Prince Paco's movement inertia. It's the easiest area, ideal for practicing the controls, and introduces obstacles like hanging bridges and bonus targets. Areas 12 and 13 introduce the wing item, allowing Prince Paco to fly, though it takes practice to move smoothly in the air. These areas also feature hidden trash cans and treasure chests that yield valuable fast food or special items. Keep an eye out for a hidden warp zone in a pit that skips you ahead. You'll also encounter swaying bridges and large, pendulum-like platforms called splashers that require careful timing. Finally, Area 14 showcases the thrilling roller coaster attraction, described as the most popular ride in the park. Each world in Marvel Land features one of these areas, all including loops. The key here is using the rolling attack to avoid signs and skulls, and practicing grabbing fast food collectibles for points as you ride. It's all about timing and effective use of your abilities on the go. This page continues our look at Marvel Land, wrapping up World 1's Flower Country and moving into World 2's Forest and Water Country. Areas 15 and 16 take us onto the castle walls, featuring maze-like paths and platforms that require mastering slope jumps to reach higher points. You'll need precise timing here. Area 17 is inside the castle itself, filled with various traps and guarded by sprites. Be especially cautious of the Medusa-like enemy's petrifying flash attack. The end of World 1 features a unique boss fight against the Great Condor. This isn't a standard combat encounter, but a Pokasuka Jenkin, or rock-paper-scissors battle that relies heavily on quick reflexes. Between worlds, you get a breather in the beautiful Star Parade bonus stage, where you collect falling stars for extra points. World 2, the Forest and Water Country, kicks off with Area 21, which features a massive Ferris wheel. It can be tricky to navigate the unstable platforms, but the game is generous, providing the split and wing items early to help you recover if you fall. Area 22 is centered around a lake, with many enemies popping out from the water and hidden inside moving treasure chests. Stay towards the top of the screen when possible for safety. Watch out for sinking log platforms and intermittent fountains that require careful timing to jump on. This page continues the journey through Marvel Land's Forest and Water Country, detailing areas 23 to 27. Area 23 is described as an amusement park stage, with attractions like a ship and the split swing platform, featuring various unique enemies and a hidden warp zone to a secret area. Area 24 offers a thrilling roller coaster stage where 2 cars run alongside each other, allowing daring jumps between them, and also includes an underground lava area. Areas 25 and 26 cover a challenging stage over a waterfall and the treacherous castle walls, warning of tricky footing and dangers like jet moles attacks. Area 27 is the castle interior, a complex area with spikes and block puzzles requiring precise movements. The World 2 finale features a balloon-bursting showdown against the boss, Yoroyanku, a unique minigame where you must burst the opponent's balloon. The article notes the Mega Drive version is an arrangement of the arcade game, highlighting differences in boss encounters and expressing anticipation for the characters appearing in the final Star Parade. This page features an article from the Domain of a Game Designer series, written by Naoto Katakura. This entry, the 4th part, delves into the efficient use of automatic generation to create never-ending game worlds, focusing on scenarios. Part 2. The author discusses the inherent difficulties in automatically generating compelling narratives for games, contrasting it with simpler tasks like defining paths or goals. He notes that while basic automatic generation exists, creating truly engaging and non-repetitive stories is challenging. For complex games like RPGs, achieving narrative depth through automatic generation would necessitate automatically generating the background world and even character interactions. The article mentions the classic paper game When, Where, With Whom, What, How as a primitive example of a scenario plot generation system. Ultimately, the author feels that automatically generating narratives comparable to those crafted by skilled writers remains a distant prospect, but the concept itself holds a mysterious charm related to the act of creation. The page includes a small cartoon illustration of a character. This page features the TV game market frontline column by game critic Jam Ojisan, focusing on the development and reception of Shining in the Darkness, released by Sega. The article includes an interview with Hiroyuki Takahashi, representative director of Climax, who discusses the game's creation. Takahashi reveals that the initial concept was a haunted house, aiming for something twice the scale of the final product in 3Ds, but they ultimately could only include half of their ideas due to constraints. He describes the game as an experience-based, story-driven RPG. The discussion covers user feedback and expectations, with Takahashi noting that while he hasn't heard much negative feedback, he feels that magazine previews describing the game as having one town, one castle might have led users to have excessive expectations about the scale of exploration. The article also touches on special events within the game, designed to be enjoyed multiple times, adding replayability. A screenshot of the game's distinctive 3D dungeon perspective is shown. This page continues the discussion from the previous page, featuring game critic Jam Ojisan, Climax's Hiroyuki Takahashi and Hiroshi Naito, and Sega's Naoki Aoki, who was involved in the planning and production of Shining in the Darkness. The focus is on the future of RPGs, emphasizing the need for originality. The participants discuss the importance of story and events in RPGs, suggesting that originality in these areas is crucial moving forward, rather than just replicating existing systems like those popularized by Dragon Quest. They touch upon user expectations, noting that while Shining in the Darkness received positive feedback, some users might have expected a larger, more open world based on earlier descriptions. Climax expresses its ambition to expand globally, seeing the Mega Drive as a key platform for this. Takahashi mentions working on the UCAS version of Dragon Quest, which provided valuable insight into the differences between Japanese and Western game markets and user preferences. Naito is introduced as a director at Climax. The discussion highlights the unique approach Climax took with Shining in the Darkness, and their hopes for it to pave the way for their international presence. They also touch upon the relatively smaller number of RPGs available on the Mega Drive compared to other platforms. This page dives into a discussion about Namco's presence on the Mega Drive platform, titled This Month's Argument, Namco. It features opinions from readers regarding the company's output since entering the Mega Drive market. Having released 6 Mega Drive titles and 3 Game Gear titles, Namco is facing mixed reactions from users in their first year. One opinion notes dissatisfaction with Namco's initial strategy, feeling that titles like Phelios and Burning Force are standard and lack the impact seen on other platforms like the PIC engine. The arrival of Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water for 6,500 yen, is highlighted as a surprising move that shows Namco's potential, and the author expresses hope for future original titles. Another reader lists desired ports, hoping Namco will seriously consider user requests for bringing more titles to the platform. Conversely, some opinions are quite critical, with one expressing disappointment that Namco hasn't produced any major hits on the Mega Drive and criticizing Megapanel. Another bluntly suggests focusing on other developers like Sega, Technosoft, and Taito instead. The page includes screenshots of 2 Namco Mega Drive games, the vertically scrolling shooter Phelios and the forward-scrolling shooter Burning Force. Overall, the consensus seems to be that while Namco's entry was welcomed, their early output on the Mega Drive has left some users wanting more, particularly in terms of original or impactful titles. This page continues the discussion about Namco's performance on the Mega Drive platform, featuring more reader feedback. Several readers weigh in on Namco's recent releases, expressing mixed opinions. Some remain critical, feeling Namco is porting arcade games that weren't particularly successful, or releasing B-grade titles like Megapanel, rather than their bigger hits. They hope for ports of games like Dragon Spirit, The Legend of Valkyrie, or even Gradius 2. However, other readers defend Namco, questioning what constitutes the company's typical style, and arguing that recent releases like Phelios are perfectly fine. They suggest users be patient and continue providing feedback, noting that Namco has released successful games on other platforms, even after initial disappointments. The page includes illustrations depicting fan ideas like a wrestling balls game and the arrival of Nadia, the secret of blue water, alongside screenshots that appear to be from Megapanel and possibly Burning Force. The overall tone is one of ongoing debate and anticipation regarding Namco's future on the Mega Drive. The section concludes by announcing that the theme for the next month's issue will be the recently quite successful Sega. This page continues the reader feedback section, focusing heavily on game impressions. The main feature is titled, Game Say Anything, where readers submit their thoughts. One reader offers a detailed review of Bahamut Senki, giving it high marks for its opening sequence and overall graphics, though finding the battle screen visuals less impressive. They note the sound is inconsistent but criticize the AI and lack of unique features, suggesting it's easy to beat quickly with a high-level character. It might prove challenging for those accustomed to PC games. Another submission discusses Nadia, the secret of blue water, praising its excellent story, direction, atmosphere, and character dialogue. However, they point out that understanding the game relies heavily on prior knowledge of the source material, and some puzzle elements are difficult. Shining in the Darkness receives glowing praise, with one reader calling it a magnificent RPG. They particularly enjoyed the leveling system and found the combat engaging, emphasizing that the desire to see what happens next makes grinding enjoyable. They highly recommend the game, declaring it a must-buy for Mega Drive owners, and even suggesting those without the console should get one just for this title. The page is also filled with reader-submitted illustrations, depicting characters and scenes from various games, like a potential Arxis Odyssey, Nadia, Sonic the Hedgehog, and the Ninja Warriors, showcasing the diverse interests of the Mega Drive fanbase. This page continues the reader feedback section titled, Users Want to Tell the Kai. Readers voice their opinions and hopes for the Mega Drive. One submission expresses disappointment over the cancellation of the Patlabor game and the delay of a Pere Jitsugu, with the reader having purchased a Mega Drive specifically for the former. Another reader requests a comprehensive Phantasy Star compilation on Klydrom, emphasizing depth and longevity over flashy visuals. There's a call for more adventure games like Jake Hunter and classic compilations such as Namco Gallery on Mega Drive CD. The demand for detailed horse racing simulations is also highlighted, with the editor noting the genre's potential impact on hardware sales and mentioning their own office's success using expert advice. The page also features a humorous segment, displaying a Playboy magazine cover and a gravure photo labeled BeepMD, linked to reader questions, and a feature on Donut Rambo. Additionally, there are sections encouraging readers to submit sharp criticisms for a Complain Freely corner and general questions for a question box. This page features reader contributions and magazine announcements. In the upper left, a 4-panel manga strip titled MD-kun at the Theater offers a humorous take on the Mega Drive console and its peripherals like the Crydrom and floppy disk drive. To the right is the announcement of winners for the April issue's presents. Prizes included goods related to popular games like the Shining series and Sonic the Hedgehog, specific game software such as Caesar's Conquest, Bahamut Senki, Kageki, Super Monaco GP, Golden Axe, Scramble Spirits, Rampage, and Game Ground, plus items like Atari pens, Neo Geo bags, and a rad mobile poster. Winners for games like Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, and Tetris were also listed. Below, a small section includes apologies for errors in the May issue's text and photo captions. The larger Submissions to BeepMD section outlines various reader feedback corners the magazine hosts. These include a general discussion corner with monthly themes, the upcoming August theme is Sega, dedicated sections for complaining about specific games or the game industry, a pin talk for interesting observations, a Bemega question box for questions, and even an irritation corner for venting frustrations. They also solicit submissions for the MD-kun 4-panel manga. Accepted submissions are eligible for prizes, including game software and book vouchers. The page concludes with the magazine's address for sending in submissions. This page contains the final installment of the Game Writer's Diary Drifting About column by Mitsuharu Orihara. In this concluding piece, Orihara bids farewell to the readers, expressing gratitude for their support. He shares a recent acquisition, the Star Wars Trilogy software for the Atari ST. This prompts a discussion about the classic Atari arcade versions of the Star Wars games, known for their distinctive vector graphics. He specifically mentions the original Star Wars arcade game and its sequel, The Empire Strikes Back, noting the latter wasn't widely available in Japan. He reflects on game mechanics like gaining bonus points by passing under an Atwalker's legs in one of the games. Orihara contrasts modern games with older titles, expressing a fondness for classics, and mentioning games like Pengo, and potentially Turbo, referenced as Turbine. He also briefly touches upon his past experience as an X68000 user. The column concludes with a postscript about the debut album release of the music group Denki Groove. Accompanying the text are several cartoon illustrations, including a 4-panel comic strip featuring penguins, and a larger drawing of 2 distinct characters. This page features the Takanawa Wholesome Club Strange Exploration Team column, starting with a report on a search for a shop selling Sega. The team located a building materials store in Setagaya, Tokyo, called Katu Building Materials Shop, which surprisingly had something labeled Sega. To their amusement, it turned out to be a Sega-branded aluminum ladder, not a game console or software. The article also notes the actual Sega headquarters is in Haneda, Otaku. Below, the page showcases various submissions from readers. These include a letter sent to the club with a peculiar label, drawings related to a performance by Haruo Minami and a character called Fuzzy Man, a challenging user-submitted maze, and humorous experiments on skin feel using tissue and a test of waterproofing with plastic, along with a Junior East quiz that ends with a disappointing punchline. The variety of submissions highlights the interactive nature of the magazine with its readership. This page continues with reader-submitted content and columns associated with the Takanawa Wholesome Club. A significant portion is dedicated to a narrative piece titled Midsummer Uncle, telling a story of someone trapped in a cold room, encountering strange individuals including a muscular man and an uncle in a helmet, creating a sense of unease and suspense. The Japan's Rain is Acid Rain section features a simple comic strip with stick figures humorously interacting with umbrellas, involving flipping them and holding them upside down, accompanied by written sound effects. The Wholesome People's Words column showcases a reader's submission, highlighting an Osaka Castle Kanpai snack bought as a souvenir during a business trip, noting its name is appealing and finding it surprisingly tasty for a souvenir. A section titled Other Things This Month serves as a catch-all for various short, miscellaneous submissions, described by the title as content that is somehow hard to categorize but is included anyway, featuring small drawings. The page concludes with the application requirements, detailing how readers can submit content to the magazine. It lists the various reader-submitted columns or corners that are accepting contributions, mentions the types of items given as thank you gifts, like software, books, or goods packaged in a fun bag, provides the mailing address, and reminds contributors to include necessary personal information and the name of the corner they are submitting to. This section clearly outlines how the magazine solicits and organizes reader input for these columns. This page features an advertisement for the Kix S91 control box, a versatile arcade stick designed to bring the arcade experience home with improved video quality. It boasts an S-terminal output for sharper visuals, rapid-fire functions with adjustable speed, stereo audio output, and compatibility with multiple systems including the Famicom, PC Engine, and the mighty MegaDrive via various interface cords. They are even offering a free vertical to horizontal screen connector with purchase, perfect for playing vertical shooters on a standard TV. Different models are available, tailored for home TVs or RGB monitors, and an optional Mahjong panel attachment is also shown. The ad provides details on ordering, joining their rental club for game PCBS, and contact information for distributors. This page features a hyper-technology lecture article by Akini Byaku, introducing the puzzle game Tesserae. The article defines Tesserae, which is a Macintosh title, and discusses the evolution of computer games, contrasting traditional games with pure puzzle types. Tesserae is highlighted as a pure puzzle game that requires strategic thinking rather than reflex or timing. The core gameplay involves moving and jumping different types of colored tiles on a grid, including primary, secondary, and tertiary tiles, which combine and disappear in complex ways, dependent on color mixing. The reviewer praises the game's depth and how the tile patterns and color arrangements stimulate the brain. A screenshot shows the colorful grid of tiles. The article also mentions the game's satisfying sound effects and its availability on platforms like the Macintosh Classic. This page continues the Be Mega Hot menu feature, dedicating itself primarily to the action RPG Arcus Odyssey from Wolf Team. With the game's June 14th release approaching, The article dives into later sections, specifically chapters 4 and 5, highlighting the game's impressive graphics. Interestingly, the article notes significant structural changes compared to the earlier preview version covered in the previous issue. The developers express regret for any confusion caused by these revisions, particularly concerning map layouts in the initial chapters, which shifted from a zigzag path to a more direct route. A recap of the first chapter sets the stage, mentioning the impending resurrection of the evil sorceress Castamira and the quest undertaken by the heroes. The page features portraits of the main playable characters and mentions the old guy, likely Vid, one of the protagonists, noting his popularity. Screenshots showcase the quarter-view gameplay and the game's environments. A key point is emphasized regarding finding a water source, requiring players to obtain crucial information from a specific NPC near the starting point, stressing that learning this method is essential for progress. Changes to item locations, like the number of magic crystals, are also noted. Arcus Odyssey's early to mid-game, beginning with Chapter 2, sees heroes rescuing captured adventurers. Players will need to find the prison key and exit key, requiring information from an NPC. While item locations differ slightly from the preview, the core gameplay remains. Beware of projectile shooting enemies. Chapter 3 features notable revisions. Heroes enter a pyramid where Castamira's ritual is underway, fueled by blood sacrifice. Players must ascend the pyramid, using 5 colored swords to unlock doors. A seemingly hostile monster provides the azure sword and key information, hinting at a plot twist. Screenshots illustrate key items, NPC interactions, pyramid areas, and challenging enemies, like axe-throwing minotaurs. Success relies on teamwork and gathering information to overcome the obstacles. Chapter 4 of Arcus Odyssey, Evil Flame, finds the heroes in a fiery shrine, now a hazardous battlefield. Players must navigate lava pools while facing tougher enemies. The water charm is crucial, enabling the defeat of flame monsters blocking dried waterways. Using the charm restores water flow. The chapter features a reappearance of the purificationist met earlier, providing clues. A path leads to a guarded room, hinting at a significant discovery. The Vidsan check assesses potential party members. Freya Ashanai, with her slow but powerful homing missiles, is considered the strongest choice. Kawadega 1, Harg wields a scythe, and Cardiel Helen's explosive knives are less practical. This page dives into Chapter 5 of Arcus Odyssey, titled The Floating Shrine. The chapter kicks off with a surprising event at the end of Chapter 4, removing one of the hero's objectives, which sets the stage for this new challenge. The core of Chapter 5 is the battle high above, in the visually striking floating shrine, a place so high it might make players with a fear of heights feel uneasy. Combat intensifies here, requiring more reliance on defensive techniques than ever before. The page highlights 2 intriguing potential companions or adversaries, Kayami and Yoko. Kayami is described as a reliable ally covering your back with shots, while Yoko is a tough, straightforward attacker. Both seem to have unusual names. The chapter also features a puzzle element involving large mirrors scattered throughout the field. These mirrors are indestructible, but damage you if touched, and finding the exit isn't straightforward. The hints section suggests remembering Kayami's words and checking for any unusual facilities, pointing towards a specific location that holds the key to progressing. Destroying the mirrors reveals a new path leading to the stage boss. This feels like a strategic mission. The page ends by teasing the next chapter. This guide offers strategies for bosses in the first 3 chapters of Arcus Odyssey. Chapter 1's Deckard is best fought by using terrain for cover against his reflected shots. Chapter 2 presents the giant tortoise, defeated by frontal defense, followed by the King 100 Ton, a spear-wielding merman. Dodge King 100 Ton's attacks by moving diagonally from his emergence point. Chapter 3 features the Spider Knight, vulnerable at its humanoid upper body, and Yoshinori, who summons undead. Defeat Yoshinori by moving horizontally, using rapid fire, and utilizing magic and items, as prolonged battles are undesirable. Good luck! The next page continues the Arcus Odyssey guide, with character-specific strategies for the 4 heroes, Jada, Eklund, Diana, and Void. It breaks down tips for each character's attack style, recommended magic usage, and how to effectively level up their abilities. Jadida is noted for powerful rapid fire, Evelyn for her high attack power and HP focus, Diana for her unique reflected shots, and void for relying more on magic and mobility. The page also features the pinball game Dino Land from Wolf Team, showcasing screenshots of the title screen and gameplay. It highlights the game's energetic music composed by Ichiro Haneda, and includes a message from the developers recounting the game's unusual inspiration and origin story, suggesting a slightly mysterious and compelling development process for this unique title. This page features Taito's arcade Shoot 'em Up, Fire Mustang, making its way to the Mega Drive. The cover art prominently displays Top 51 Mustang fighter planes, engaging ground targets in a desert setting. Screenshots show the top-down vertical scrolling gameplay, featuring both aerial dogfights and attacks on tanks and other ground vehicles. The game is highlighted as a complete port of the popular arcade title, promising realistic shooting action. A red box indicates the release date was scheduled for May 31st, with a price of 6,800 yen. This was a solid arcade shooter from Taito, known for its intense action and detailed sprite work, and bringing it home was a big deal for Mega Drive fans. This page showcases two upcoming titles from Taito. The top section features Saint Sword for the Mega Drive, a fantasy action game or beat-em-up, known for its protagonist's ability to transform into different mythological creatures. The artwork depicts heroic figures battling demonic foes and a large centaur. Screenshots show side-scrolling combat in varied environments, including a battle against a large skeleton boss. The game was scheduled for release on June 28th, priced at 6,800 yen. Below, Halley Wars for the Game Gear is highlighted. This is a top-down space shooter. The artwork features a focused pilot and his spacecraft against a starry backdrop. Screenshots display the vertical scrolling shooting gameplay and what appears to be a map or strategy screen. Halley Wars was set for a June 21st release at a price of 3,800 yen. Taito was bringing action to both Sega platforms with these releases. This page introduces the Pro Baseball Van service for the Mega Drive, which launched on April 6th, coinciding with the start of the pro baseball season. This service, developed through a collaboration between Nikken Sports and Data Supply, provides real-time baseball information directly to your Mega Drive using the Mega Modem. It's more than just score updates. The system receives data from stadiums across Japan and processes it to simulate the actual game situation, giving users the feeling of watching or even playing the game live. While there's a slight delay in data transmission, the service aims to provide timely updates and even features an automatic disconnect after 30 minutes to help manage phone line costs. It's a unique way to follow pro baseball via the Mega Drive platform. This page dives deeper into the Pro Baseball Van service, showcasing the wealth of baseball information available through the database. You see the title screen for Nikken Sports Pro Baseball Van, which launched with the baseball season. There are also screens indicating network activity, showing wait while accessing the service, and an error wait screen if access fails, all set against a detailed stadium backdrop. The service allows real-time game enjoyment during the season, pulling data from stadiums across Japan. Even in the off-season, it acts as a database for team wins, player stats, and historical data from newspaper articles provided by Nikken Sports Data Supply. Downloading this data is even suggested as a way to save on phone costs. The page also highlights the upcoming Information Plaza, promising engaging sports content, system explanations, quizzes, and surveys, adding more interactive elements to the service. A diagram illustrates the system's flow, showing data moving from stadiums through various networks to the Mega Modem and your TV. The service is designed to provide comprehensive and up-to-date baseball information directly to the user. This page explains how easy it is to get started with the Pro Baseball Van service. You just need to send in the application postcard to go. You can purchase the service software separately, or as a bundle with the Mega Drive console and Mega Modem, all via mail order. Setting it up is simple. Connect the phone line to the Mega Modem, insert the cartridge, start the application, and dial in. There is a charge based on connection time, but using a phone line splitter lets you keep your phone connected. A smart way to use the service is highlighted. Instead of watching live updates, download the data after the game ends. This saves on phone costs and lets you review the game flow or highlight scenes offline at your leisure. You can select specific innings or even just the parts where points were scored to enjoy a personalized highlight reel, much like a baseball news report. The page shows screenshots of the inning selection screen and game action you can view after downloading. This page kicks off a special feature dedicated to the Sega Terra Drive, specifically the second part of their in-depth look at this unique machine. Scheduled for release on May 31st, the Terra Drive is positioned as a system that expands the world of IBM PCs, The text highlights that the name Terra isn't related to the Earth, Terra, but is a unit representing 1 million times mega, tying into gaming terms and suggesting the machine is aimed at the next generation. The page prominently displays the Terra Drive system itself, a fascinating hybrid unit combining Sega's gaming expertise with IBM PC compatibility. To showcase its capabilities, screenshots of classic Sega arcade ports like Outrun and Super Monaco GP are featured at the bottom, demonstrating that this PC could also run impressive Sega titles. It's clear the magazine sees the Terra Drive as a significant development and is providing a thorough analysis for its readers. This page delves into the Terra Drive's graphics capabilities, highlighting its key appeal. This page focuses on the Terra Drive's graphics, comparing the Mega Drive and IBM PC sides, featuring screenshots of Hard Drive and Test Drive 2i. The article dives into the graphical differences between the Mega Drive and IBM PC components of the Terra Drive. It notes that while the Mega Drive side is strong in action games with its sprite and scrolling hardware, the PC side, particularly with VGA, excels in color depth and resolution, capable of displaying 256 colors at 320 by 216 colors at 640 by 480. This makes the PC side better suited for more complex simulations like SimCity. Screenshots compare the Mega Drive version of Hard Drive to the PC version of Test Drive 2i, demonstrating the PC's higher detail, although the article points out many PC games still used lower resolutions and fewer colors. The flexibility of the Terra Drive to output both MD's video and PC's RGB is highlighted as a significant advantage. The image also shows the system setup running games like Super Monaco GP on the Mega Drive side. This page delves into the intricate relationship between the Mega Drive and PC components within the Terra Drive, humorously describing it as a suspicious connection, akin to the human brain's hemispheres. It explains the fundamental process of switching between the two systems using the front panel switch, noting that typically only one can be active at a time and that switching causes a system reset. An exciting reveal is a hidden technique that allows for a form of simultaneous display. By holding F2 on the PC side during startup, the Terra Drive can output both the Mega Drive video to a standard TV and the PC video concurrently, offering a sophisticated multi-display setup. The article also touches on display limitations, reiterating that standard TV resolutions differ from the PC side's higher capabilities. Finally, the page guides readers through installing PC game software from floppy disks. It outlines the standard DOS process of booting up, inserting the game disk, and executing commands like install or setup. A screenshot illustrates this with the classic golf simulation links. The Challenge of Golf, showcasing the PC side's software capabilities. This page aims to help Mega Drive users discover PC games available for the IBM PC, particularly relevant for those using the Terra Drive. It acknowledges that the vast world of PC gaming might be unfamiliar to console players and offers advice, focusing on games accessible even to PC beginners, highlighting good graphics and deep content. The article suggests overcoming the language barrier often found in English-only PC games by starting with titles that rely less on text commands, such as puzzle games like Faces or Pipe Dream, noting that even the PC version of Outrun is available. It then showcases games with impressive graphics, recommending visually stunning adventure titles like King's Quest V and Rise of the Dragon, alongside realistic simulations such as Lynx, The Challenge of Golf, and F-15 Strike Eagle 2, emphasizing their graphical detail and realism. Finally, the page delves into games known for their deep and complex content, focusing on rich simulations. Examples include SimEarth, SimCity, Indianapolis 500, The Simulation, and M1 Tank Platoon, highlighting the intricate detail and replayability offered by these titles for players seeking depth beyond typical arcade experiences. This page details the various models of the Terra Drive, outlining their core specifications across 3 different configurations and price points. Beyond the system specs, the page dives into peripherals, essential for getting the most out of PC games on the machine. It highlights ways to improve sound quality beyond the basic PC beeps with an FM soundboard, which is crucial for immersive PC gaming audio. It also covers control options, discussing how standard Mega Drive controllers can be used with a GamePort card, and emphasizes the importance of a proper joystick for simulations like flight games. Finally, it stresses the necessity of a mouse for many popular PC titles, specifically mentioning how games like SimCity require one to play effectively. The page shows images of these peripherals, including an FM sound card, a joystick, a game port card, and a mouse, explaining how they enhance the PC gaming experience on the TerraDrive platform. This page introduces a new rival to the TerraDrive, the P1286R, a low-cost IBM-compatible machine. The article discusses the anticipation around the TerraDrive's price and release before revealing the 286R from Kansai Denki Plus One, priced at a similar point to the base TerraDrive Model 1 at 148,000 yen. This makes the 286R even cheaper than Epson's PC Club Hobby PC, released the previous year. The page features images of the P1286R, showing its front with a floppy drive and the back with various ports. A detailed comparison table highlights the specifications of the P1286R and the TerraDrive. The P1286R boasts a faster CPU at 16 MHz compared to the TerraDrive's PC side at 10 MHz, and supports a higher graphics resolution of 800 by 600 dots, giving it an edge in standard PC processing and display capabilities. It also offers 2 expansion slots versus the TerraDrive's 1. The article notes that while the core PC price is similar, the TerraDrive includes the MegaDrive functionality, offering value there, but the 286R surpasses the TerraDrive's PC side in speed and resolution. The appearance of both the TerraDrive and the 286R is seen as a significant boost for the overall IBM PC market. This article compares the TerraDrive and the Plus One 286R, questioning which is superior. The 286R, despite lacking the TerraDrive's inherent MegaDrive console advantage, boasts superior PC graphics, supporting higher resolutions. The 286R also has a faster 16 MHz CPU versus the TerraDrive's 10 MHz PC side, although performance varies with software. The article details physical differences, including keyboard designs and the 286R's deceptive drive base. Plus One's market strategy for the 286R focused on expanding the IBM PC market in Japan, a market dominated by NEC's PC 9800 series. They aim to offer an affordable IBM-compatible machine. This allowed them to overcome challenges like the high cost of importing overseas machines, such as the TerraDrive, and the need for local support. The article includes images of the 286R, contrasting it with the TerraDrive, and showcases other Plus One models, emphasizing their dedication to the IBM PC market. This page features an interview with Micromouse, a company involved in the IBM PC market in Japan, discussing the future of the platform, particularly concerning software and gaming. Micromouse has been handling IBM PC peripherals and software since 1982, and publishes the IBM PC User magazine, which started in 1986 to promote IBM PCs when they weren't widely known in Japan, despite being a world standard. They note that the rise of Japanese IBM compatibles, like the Toshiba J3100, helped popularize the platform. The interview highlights that many IBM PC games are simulation titles often aimed at adults, and mentions the increasing popularity of VGA graphics, with 256 colors. The IBM PC is seen as advantageous due to its expandability. Regarding the TerraDrive, Micromouse believes its low cost and hardware blend are appealing. They discuss how the Japanese game market is split between dedicated consoles like the Mega Drive and Super Nintendo, and PCs like the PC-98 and X68000. The TerraDrive, with its dual CPUs, 80286 and 68000, could potentially bring about new games that appeal to both camps. Micromouse is also known as a distributor of Lucasfilm games in Japan. This advertisement promotes imported software available for purchase. Headlined, "The foreign software you wanted is yours." It showcases games for the Sega Mega Drive, Genesis, and NES, Famicom. Mega Drive listings include titles like Populous, Budokan, Klax, and Sword of Sodan. NE's game availability features Dragon Warrior, The Legend of Zelda, Gauntlet, and Super Mario Bros. 2. The ad details that Genesis cartridges work directly with the Mega Drive, while NES games require an adapter for Japanese Famicom systems. Instructions for mail ordering are provided, including Mesasano's contact information and location in Akihabara, Tokyo. The advertisement functions as a catalog for importing hard-to-find games. This page features the third part of the hot-blooded Mega Drive declaration, a series interviewing developers newly entering the Mega Drive market. This installment focuses on Human, a company previously prominent on the PC Engine. Human explains their move to the Mega Drive is driven by business considerations, aiming to develop software for any platform that is commercially viable. They highlight the lower manufacturing cost of Mega Drive cartridges compared to both Super Famicom and PC Engine as a key attraction. Human is also exploring development for the Sega CD and is already working on Super Famicom titles, including Pro Wrestling and Soccer, for release this year. Their approach remains consistent across platforms, focusing purely on business viability, and they see an opportunity in the Mega Drive market due to the relative scarcity of sports games. The page includes a brief history of Human's past releases, such as Fire Pro Wrestling and Formation Soccer, across various systems. The person featured is Mr. Chachimaru of Human, known in the industry, and a fan of fighting games. This page continues the interview with Mr. Chachimaru from Human. He discusses the Human Creative School, explaining that students average around 20 years old and go through interviews and tests to get in. The curriculum starts with general computer knowledge before specializing in programming, graphics, or sound. The goal is to provide the industry with skilled professionals. Regarding game development, Human emphasizes usability and making sure sports games are realistic simulations, even ensuring multiplayer games are still fun when played solo. Mr. Chachimaru stresses that games shouldn't just be a developer's passion project, but must be playable and enjoyable for users. He encourages Mega Drive players to buy and try Human's games, stating they are keeping a close eye on the platform, including Sega CD. The page also showcases some of Human's work. Their first Mega Drive game was the racing title Fastest One, featuring a fully simulated Fra-1 course with a two-player mode. The second Mega Drive entry is the wrestling game Fire Pro Wrestling, scheduled for summer release, which features tag teaming in over 50 move types. Finally, they highlight Egypt, a Famicom adventure game created entirely by their school's first-year students. This page dives into the world of hip-hop music, proclaiming it a fun and immensely popular culture among young people. It attempts to define hip-hop, tracing its roots back to 1970s New York, and explaining elements like rapping, scratching, and sampling. MC Hammer is highlighted as an example of easy-to-understand rap. The page recommends several albums including MC Hammer's Super Sweet Mix, LL Cool J's Walking with a Panther, Run DMC's Tougher Than Leather, De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising, Young MC's Stone Cold Rhymin', and Public Enemy's Fear of a Black Planet. It also features notable Japanese artists like Seiko Ito and Shidara Par. The page lists various Japanese artists considered rappers and hip-hoppers at the time, and details commercials that used hip-hop elements. The bottom text mentions some TV programming info. This page continues the discussion on hip-hop, noting its increasing accessibility and appeal in Japan, even for those without musical training, thanks to technology like computers for beatmaking. It suggests the joy comes from the simple act of dancing and the good vibe. The page then transitions into game music and video reviews, highlighting several album releases. The review for Formula/ESS.T features music becoming increasingly fusion-oriented, almost becoming something else borrowing from game music. It lists featured games like R360, Glock, Cybersled, Rad Mobile, GP Rider, and Laser Ghost. Next up is Namco Video Game Graffiti Volume 7. Praised for its enjoyable arrangements of familiar tunes like Wonder Momo and Barabof Man. It includes vocal versions and captures the Namco atmosphere well, though the Burning Force track is deemed less impactful. The review for Misty Blue by Yuzo Koshiro notes it includes a bonus track, the Soundboard 2 version of ActRaiser's, which some might find more valuable than the main content. Misty Blue itself is described as having a somewhat dated feel. Finally, the review for Elemental Master on Mega Drive by Technosoft covers 3 versions of the music: original, synthesizer, and live. The synthesizer version is noted for its grand arrangement, while the live version is found to lack some punch. The page briefly touches on the state of Japanese rappers, questioning if it has truly become a major hit, despite pioneers in recent efforts. This page dives into the world of overseas game magazines, highlighting their importance as a source of information, particularly for the Genesis. Much like in Japan, gaming magazines are thriving in places like America and the UK, offering insights into the local gaming culture. The focus shifts to the American magazine scene, noting that magazines like Game Players provide comprehensive coverage across various platforms, including the Genesis, NES, TurboGrafx 16, and even PC systems like IBM PC, Amiga, and Atari St. These magazines are seen as primarily review-focused, but also include strategies. GamePro is mentioned as being more extensive, with more pages and a higher proportion of advertisements. There are also platform-specific publications like Sega Visions and Mega Play. Moving across the pond, the page explores British magazines, specifically mentioning titles such as Computer Plus Video Games and Mean Machines. The author expresses surprise at the apparent lack of dedicated Genesis/Mega Drive magazines in the UK and speculates this might be due to the console's popularity potentially not being as widespread there at the time compared to other platforms. The images show examples of some of these Alice magazines, giving a visual taste of the overseas gaming press. This page continues our look into overseas game magazines, focusing now on the UK scene. It notes the high price of games from a Virgin subsidiary and emphasizes the robustness of the UK's computer game magazines, particularly covering platforms like Amiga and Atari Street. A key trend in UK magazines is bundling demo or utility discs. The author highlights the significant difference in video standards, PAL in the UK/Europe versus NTSC in Japan and the US, noting that PAL software often won't run correctly on NTSC systems. This is a crucial point for importing UK games, especially with the increasing number of Amiga-exclusive titles. While Genesis software is usually NTSC-BASED incompatible, this PAL issue could become more relevant with future UK-specific releases. The page then provides a practical guide on obtaining overseas magazines, suggesting buying them abroad, finding them in specialty bookstores, or subscribing directly. It outlines the subscription process, involving international money orders. Finally, it lists addresses and subscription prices for several magazines, including Game Players, GamePro, Zero, and Amiga format, detailing costs for surface and airmail delivery. The images show covers of various UK gaming magazines. This page is an advertisement for a mail-order video game retailer called Hop, offering sales of new games for a variety of systems including the Nintendo Entertainment System, Game Boy, PC Engine GT, Game Gear, PC Engine CD-ROM Squared, and Sega Genesis. The page details consoles and numerous game titles available for purchase via mail order, along with pricing and ordering instructions. This page is part 3 of the BeepMD Hot Menu feature, where the magazine delivers the latest hot gaming news. Featured prominently is Blue Almanac, an RPG from Kodansha Soken. The article notes this is the third time they've covered this highly anticipated title for the Mega Drive, stating the story is now reaching its midpoint and showing various developments. With the game's release on June 22nd approaching, the focus here is on providing a strategy guide centered around maps. The adventure shifts to the Shiril-Daril binary star system. The first scenario discusses arriving at Shiril and parting ways with the Aspirians. A woman at the port directs the player to Shiril Castle. The article suggests heading straight there is the best course of action. A screenshot shows the port area and the parting characters. The next section focuses on Shiril Castle, titled, "Did you talk to Princess Lana?" Players go to the castle, and upon trying to talk to a witch, are unexpectedly asked about Princess Lana. Searching the castle yields no sign of her. The article advises listening to the townspeople for clues. It also points out that talking to a prisoner on the top right stairs provides a step code needed for Darrell Castle. Screenshots show the dialogue about Princess Lana and a prison cell. A map of Shiril Castle's interior is also provided to aid players. The next page of the Blue Almanac feature delves into the Shiril Castle town and a mysterious event. The article opens with the character facing a difficult situation related to parting ways with Mama on a day called Spring Day. It explains that this day occurs every 8 years when the Shiril and Darrell stars align, and on this day, boys from Shiril must go to Darrell. This event causes great sadness among the children and parents, as depicted in screenshots of a seemingly prosperous canteen filled with mournful young people. The page includes a map of the town outside the castle, showing the layout. There's also a price list for the shops in Shiril Castle. The walkthrough then moves to the next objective, heading to Shah Village. The title, "Sudden Back to the Future?" teases the unexpected events that await. Upon entering one of the small houses in Shah Village, the player character will incredibly meet their parents from 16 years ago and their sister from 8 years ago. This shocking discovery is linked to the father finding a cargo ship with 2 brain swords inside near Darrell Lake. The ultimate goal after this time-bending encounter is to head for the military base. The page includes a map of Shaw Village and screenshots showing the dialogue and the village environment. Blue Almanac's critical path continues with a tense military base visit. Soldiers reveal the Radan Army's occupation of Darrell Star, and the military plans planetary annihilation via missile strike. The protagonist receives a time counter, burdened with saving Darrell. Next, the journey shifts to Darrell Star, with the reviewer noting architectural similarities to Shiril Castle. The town is deserted, hinting at the capture of the inhabitants, including Princess Rana. Finally, the feature previews Darrell Castle, now infested with monsters. The identical layout to Shiril Castle should not deceive players, as the Radan presence creates immediate danger. A battle screenshot highlights the struggle within the occupied castle, implying the princess's location. The next page continues the Blue Almanac guide, detailing the party's progress. First, you explore Darrell Castle's underground prison to rescue captives. You speak with the Radan commander, learning the Radan army is after a box ship, and that Princess Rana has already been moved to Darrell Star. You manage to free 3 prisoners, and learn the vital step code for Darrell Lake from them, as other prisoners were taken there. The reviewer notes that Darrell Lake and the box ship seem key to this chapter. Next, you must rescue a woman on the 3rd floor of Shiril Castle. She confirms Princess Rana's capture and transport on a Radan ship before returning to Shiril Castle herself, which the reviewer finds surprisingly brave. Following her advice, you return to Shiril Castle, where the long-awaited female warrior finally joins your party to aid in the princess's rescue. Her arrival is a game-changer, enabling more effective use of force abilities, especially with the brain sword equipped, broadening your combat options significantly. A screenshot shows the new party member, Yuko, joining Miyabi and Han in battle against a Radan soldier. The page concludes with an enthusiastic note about the new recruit's appearance, calling her an, "Oh, sexy surprise girl." The next page continues the in-depth guide for Star Odyssey, presenting a detailed map of the crucial Darrell Lake region. The main feature is the map itself, showing the icy terrain, various entry points including Cave A, Cave B, and Cave C, and the paths connecting them. The guide offers strategic advice for navigating this area. A prominent section titled, "Don't Enter Cave A," suggests that immediately entering Cave A might be pointless, emphasizing the need to focus on leveling up, especially for the new female warrior party member. It notes that while Brainsword is powerful, it's less effective for the female warrior at low levels, recommending equipping her with the Deathbringer instead. Interestingly, it mentions that the box ship, a key mystery, can be seen from the lowest floor of Cave A. A convenient memo specifically addresses the female warrior, urging players to protect the female warrior. It highlights her fragility early in the game, stating she can be easily defeated by enemy attacks. The crucial advice is to frequently use the guard command in battle until her level increases, as needing to constantly return to the hospital is time-consuming and difficult. Screenshots illustrate the entrance to Cave A and a battle scene, likely emphasizing the points made in the text about the warrior's vulnerability. This page continues the guide for Blue Almanac, focusing on the caves in the Darrell Lake area. There's a section discussing Cave B, noting that you won't find the box ship there, and the items you discover are mostly useless shower bombs, making the effort largely pointless. It also warns that battles there can be difficult due to enemies inflicting poison. The main focus shifts to Cave C, with a title asking if it has a dog's face. This section features detailed map layouts for various levels of Cave C, labeled B1 through B7, showing the winding paths, bodies of water, and item chests. These maps are crucial for navigating the complex dungeon. A convenient memo provides a vital tip. When entering caves, be prepared for poison. It strongly advises carrying as many poison drops as possible to counteract this effect. It also specifically highlights the centipede enemy as one to be cautious of, showing a small image of the creature. The maps and advice are clearly aimed at helping players traverse these dangerous areas. This page continues the journey in Star Odyssey, finally reaching the legendary box ship after navigating the expansive Cave K and freeing captured individuals near the entrance. The guide emphasizes using the map provided for Cave C and hints at the truth behind the box ship's mystery. Be warned of tough enemies like the centipede and bow encountered during your exploration, as they are highlighted as particularly difficult. The path to the ship is guarded by the mid-boss Sulamza, Despite his imposing size shown in the battle screenshot, the guide notes he is surprisingly easy to defeat. Once inside the box ship, you'll find a guide who reveals crucial details about events from 65 million years ago, connecting the Lodian people and the protagonist's destiny as the Moonchild, setting the stage for the next objective on another planet. Make sure to acquire the Force Energy Theory Manual found within the ship's data. The page includes maps of the box ship's interior and screenshots showing key dialogue scenes that advance the plot and explain the lore. This page continues the adventure in Star Odyssey, detailing the journey after leaving the box ship. First, you must go to the military base to prepare for the voyage to the next destination, Vinstar, where soldiers are already getting the ship ready. After all the previous events, the focus is on moving forward once preparations are complete. Upon arrival at Vinstar, you are immediately introduced to the Federal Council. Entering the central building, you encounter a character named Alum. Speaking with Alum reveals that the Lodian science manual you acquired is needed in exchange for a starship. After providing the manual, you are indeed given a starship, which the guide finds quite generous. The page includes screenshots showing the departure scene from the military base, the arrival on Vinstar, interiors of buildings on Vinstar including conference rooms where meetings with the Darillians are taking place, and the starship received. There are also brief comments on some of the characters encountered, like the mysterious Jan and a strange old man. The starship is described as a bit worn but still pretty cool and capable of flight. This page features the Sega Genesis classic, Bonanza Brothers. This comical action game, known for its distinctive characters and lively presentation, is highlighted here with a focus on its initial stages. The game takes place in Bad Town, where two protagonists, the Bonanza Brothers, act as righteous thieves, stealing treasures from the buildings of villains to protect the innocent citizens. Gameplay involves infiltrating buildings like a shady corporation, a fake casino, and a counterfeit workshop to retrieve evidence-turned-treasures. However, buildings are guarded by patrolmen, riot police, and hired thugs. The key mechanic is using your shotgun to temporarily stun guards, allowing you to grab treasures unopposed. The game supports two-player simultaneous play, adding to the chaotic fun. Once all treasures are collected, you escape via a waiting airship to clear the stage. Stage 1, the Shady Corporation, serves as a straightforward introduction, being a simple two-story building with 4 treasures, a safe, a floppy disk, and documents. There are no special traps, so stunning guards with the shotgun is the main strategy. Tips are provided, suggesting how to strategically stun guards and use doors to trap enemies, particularly the riot police, to secure the final treasure efficiently before making your getaway to the exit airship. Screenshots show various game moments, including the title screen, in-game action with hard elements, a basic map view, and step-by-step visuals for collecting the final treasure in Stage 1. This page moves on to cover Stages 2 and 3 of the classic Bonanza Brothers. Stage 2, titled Rich Man's Mansion, is described as a sprawling estate split into a main building and an annex. Players can navigate between them via a ventilation shaft on the first floor or a slide from the 3rd floor of the main building. The level introduces simple traps like empty cans and brooms, easily overcome by jumping. The text ponders the scale of the mansion and the potential evil deeds required to build such a place. Strategy tips focus on escaping the persistent riot police after being spotted and utilizing the brief invincibility gained after collecting treasures to stun nearby guards effectively. Screenshots show the multi-story mansion layout, specific combat scenarios, the target list of treasures, and a simplified map. Stage 3, the casino, significantly ramps up the challenge by increasing the number of formidable riot police enemies, making straightforward play more difficult. The advice here suggests a full-speed rush strategy at the beginning, darting past initial enemies and heading straight for the first set of stairs, relying on quick reflexes to dodge shots. A key tip highlights the spring pads on the roof. Using these allows rapid vertical movement to the top floor and grants temporary invincibility, preventing hits from rooftop snipers while allowing lateral movement and stunning enemies below. The accompanying visuals show the vibrant casino interiors, strategic points, the target list, and a map of the stage. This page delves further into the tactical intricacies of Bonanza Brothers, offering crucial strategies for navigating specific challenging areas and dealing with tough enemies. One section describes utilizing a pulley car to smash through a wall and enter an annex after securing treasure from the main building. It advises heading right if you happen to miss the pulley car and fall. Another critical piece of advice focuses on the formidable riot police, referred to as big guys, highlighting that they won't go down easily. They immediately throw bombs upon spotting you, so the first step is to quickly move to the side of the stairs to evade. Once their attack subsides, the recommended approach is to attack them from a distance with your stun gun, noting that it takes 4 hits to temporarily stun them. A key strategy is to get the final treasure on the first floor and then stun the big guy on the roof one last time before making your escape. Further tips include ignoring troublesome guards near the exit in a particular area, opting instead to use a nearby spring pad to jump past them directly towards freedom, as engaging them is highly risky. Finally, a specific guide is given for collecting a treasure that is difficult to access safely. It recommends taking a longer route, first obtaining a treasure on the floor above, then quickly descending the right stairs to surprise and easily stun the riot police from behind. This tactical guide focuses on 2 Bonanza Brothers stages. Stage 4, the Mint, has a complex layout, especially on the first floor, with treasures divided. In 2-player mode, splitting up is recommended. The stage features press machines that can instantly eliminate guards, but be careful not to crush your partner. Stage 5, the Underground Gold Mine, starts with a minecart ride. This stage introduces the mobile police, who instantly shoot on sight, making previous strategies ineffective. To defeat them, keep distance, dodge shots, and flank them. This guide provides maps and treasure locations for both stages. This page continues the Bonanza Brothers strategy guide, offering tips on dealing with specific enemies and level layouts. It advises on handling guard dogs upon their first appearance, noting their speed makes escape difficult once spotted, so preemptive stunning is recommended. The guide suggests avoiding the 3rd floor passageway if possible, due to its open layout and the presence of difficult enemies like the mobile police, making stealth and direct confrontation risky. An image illustrates the problem with rushing this area. In sections without environmental traps like press machines, the guide explains how to deal with shielded mobile police. Instead of direct attack, which is often blocked, it suggests luring them and waiting for the moment their side is exposed as they adjust position, then striking. This tactic is emphasized as being easier to understand visually than in text, shown in step-by-step images. Another tip shows how to deal with these tough enemies by positioning yourself to bypass them when they are on a ledge. The page also revisits the guard dogs, noting that dogs near stairs are hard to miss, but are less threatening than wall-hugging standard guards because they call for help before attacking directly. Stunning the dogs is presented as less troublesome than engaging in protracted gunfights with guards. Treasure locations are marked throughout the screenshots. Fastest One, developed by Human for the Sega Mega Drive, is a realistic F1 racing game, building upon the PC Engine's F1 Triple Battle. It offers challenging gameplay that prioritizes careful driving and strategic decision-making. Players can choose from 3 modes: a 16-race World Championship, a 2-player battle mode, and a practice mode for skill refinement and record attempts. The World Championship features a progression-based system with 35 drivers based on real Free-One pros. Practice mode enables players to customize their car's setup, including handling and gear ratios. Qualifying involves a time attack over 5 laps, requiring a top 8 finish to race. The game boasts a detailed uke, including race displays, car settings, and team selection. It also supports analog controllers for more precise control. Fastest One features 3 main modes. The World Championship mode simulates a racing season with 16 races. Players can adjust car setups before each race and earn points to progress to higher-ranked teams. Battle mode allows for human versus human or human versus computer races, with up to 4 cars and customizable settings like course, laps, and engine troubles. Test run mode offers practice on any of the 16 courses, allowing time attacks with adjustable conditions such as machine settings, road surface, and laps, displaying lap times and average speed. This page features the fantasy simulation game, Master of Monsters, which is making its debut on the Mega Drive after being a hit on PC. The article highlights that while it looks like a standard strategy game set in a fantasy world, its core innovation lies in incorporating significant RPG elements into the SLG system. A key point is replacing traditional units with monsters, which the reviewer suggests makes the unit system more intuitive and easier for players to grasp. The game also includes an AI system designed to help newcomers learn how to move units effectively. Furthermore, a magic system allows actions like healing units or putting enemy units to sleep. The detailed monster designs and battle scenes are also noted as drawing players into the game world. The page also introduces a selection of the nearly 80 different monsters featured in the game, including the Angel, Manticore, Minotaur, Dragon, Mermaid, Lizardman, Pegasus, Serpents, and Lomer, showcasing their in-game sprites alongside brief descriptions highlighting their abilities or characteristics. Screenshots show the strategic map view, a tower occupation screen, and a battle scene, emphasizing the visual improvements over the PC version. The next page continues the in-depth look at Master of Monsters, delving into its core mechanics and strategic elements. The article highlights summoning as the most crucial command, explaining that the maximum number of monsters a player can control is determined by the number of towers they possess plus 1, emphasizing the strategic importance of capturing towers efficiently, especially early on with high movement monsters. The page also introduces the elemental spirits, fire, water, air, and earth, each depicted with their unique attack animations and descriptions, adding another layer to the game's diverse roster. Grand magic is presented as a key strategy element, offering various effects like healing or offensive spells such as Meteor, which damages enemies in an area. Grand magic can only be used once per turn, requiring careful consideration. A section is dedicated to the significant impact of terrain on battles, illustrated with an example showing how a serpent unit gains a considerable evasion bonus when fighting from water compared to land. The article concludes by noting that while the previous coverage was brief, the game's blend of RPG accessibility and SLG depth, particularly its unique approach to monster units and terrain, makes it enjoyable for newcomers and veterans alike, serving as an excellent entry point for players familiar with RPGs but new to strategy games. Screenshots showcase the monster list, elemental spirit attacks, magic selection, and terrain effects in action. This page dives into Fire Mustang, a horizontal scrolling shooter from Taito. Set against the backdrop of World War II, you take control of the legendary STAP 51D Mustang, the ace up the sleeve of the Arnis Air Force, tasked with crushing the Japanese and German forces. The article highlights that this Mega Drive version is a faithful port of the USAF Mustang arcade game, capturing the original's feel and its impressive multi-layer scrolling backgrounds. The game keeps combat straightforward, relying solely on your machine gun and bombs, a refreshing simplicity compared to many shooters. Your Mustang's firepower can be upgraded through 3 stages, and helpfully, getting hit only reduces your power by 1 level. Beyond standard upgrades, you can find special items like the screen-clearing strike force and valuable 1-up icons to increase your stock of planes. Keep an eye out for specific enemy transports. Destroying them is key to collecting power-ups and other essential items. The reviewer seems pleased with the game's premise and its loyal arcade conversion. This page serves as a guide for Fire Mustang, focusing on the initial 2 missions. Mission Stage 1 takes you to Normandy on June 6, 1940. Your objective is to intercept the German forces attempting to land troops via massive transport planes. The guide advises against excessive rapid firing early on, as it increases difficulty. Collecting all items in this stage is key to becoming powerful. The boss is the imposing Me-321 transport plane, which fires in multiple directions. Mission Stage 2 is set at Truck Island on August 10, 1940, where you must investigate and stop a Japanese invasion. Unlike the first stage, you'll face naval units here, requiring vigilance in both air and sea battles. There's a valuable 1-up item to collect later in the stage. The guide notes that while the game has an auto-fire function on the SIC button, manual rapid firing with the A button is actually faster and recommended over relying on the auto-fire. The Japanese forces are depicted as disciplined. The boss for this stage is the Japanese Type 95 reconnaissance seaplane. Commentary mentions the arcade version had a submarine boss, finding that a large bomb sinking a sub makes more sense than hitting a plane. Be warned. The boss changes attack patterns, firing 3-way or 5-way bullets after taking damage. Side panels offer additional tips and commentary on various enemies, lamenting how easily ships can be sunk by a single bomb after traveling so far. This page continues the guide for Fire Mustang, covering the next 2 challenging missions. Mission Stage 3 transports you to Saipan on May 13, 1942, where you must repel invading Japanese bomber formations. The primary threat is the large bomber groups, which serve as the boss, the Type 99 bomber formation. The guide advises using the powerful strike force weapon, especially when surrounded, and emphasizes skillful dodging, often staying to the left side of the screen, as hesitation will lead to being overwhelmed. It also notes the appearance of peculiar-looking enemy aircraft, and the relentless nature of the battle, even as night falls. Next, Mission Stage 4 takes place in Algeria on June 23, 1943, pitting you against German forces. A key warning here is the introduction of fast jet fighters, specifically highlighting the unique Blum and Voss BV-141. These enemies are incredibly quick, requiring high power-ups and continuous rapid-fire to hit before they zoom off the screen. The BV-141 also appears as the stage boss, known for scattering circular bullet patterns. The guide suggests focusing fire directly on enemies like the scattering guy before they deploy their patterns, and recommends using strike force if dodging the BV-141's barrage becomes impossible in the desert environment. This page continues the thrilling guide for Fire Mustang. Mission Stage 5 takes you to Burma on September 15, 1943. Here, the Japanese Air Force sends numerous bomber formations protected by Agile Zero fighters. You must destroy them all. The exotic Burmese scenery serves as the backdrop for intense aerial combat, with Zeros darting around and balloon bombs drifting down. Be warned, the Japanese pilots are aggressive, and hesitation means instant defeat, especially against the Zeros. The boss for this stage is the Type 1 land attack aircraft, appearing in formation. The guide recommends focusing fire on the lower bombers first, and having the courage to close in for attacks. Next, Mission Stage 6 lands you in the Alps on April 28, 1945, facing the retreating German army consolidating their forces. Due to their difficult situation, they only deploy two types of intercepting fighters, but watch out for rapid ascending, stealth-like aircraft that are hard to hit. The boss is the Wurfrahmen for Pasity, a ground-based rocket artillery system. You're advised to aggressively shoot down enemies, particularly from the bottom left. Defeating the Wurfrahmen is critical considering the challenges ahead. The page also teases the upcoming Okinawa stage, mentioning the Japanese developing a super-large bomber with special attack tactics, promising intense battles and a showdown with this massive new threat. This page dives into the classic RPG, Shining in the Darkness, offering tips on progressing through the challenging labyrinth. It details how to overcome a seemingly impassable wall after collecting the 4 spirits mentioned previously, which grants permission to access the labyrinth's higher floors. Screenshots illustrate the progression, the wall opening, a path being revealed, and finally reaching the second floor. The page also introduces a special traveling merchant, the Yorozuya, who sets up shop between the town's weapon shop and tavern once the hero is strong enough. This merchant offers unique services, including selling gear, processing items, and providing repair services. The process involves placing an order, waiting while you explore other parts of town, and then returning to pick up the completed item. A list showcases some of the items available, noting they are generally more powerful, but also more expensive than those found in standard shops. You can also repair damaged weapons and armor here before they completely break, saving valuable gear. This merchant is a crucial resource for players looking to upgrade their equipment significantly. This page guides players through labyrinth progression and highlights the vital services of the traveling merchant. The second floor of Shining in the Darkness's labyrinth presents a greater challenge than the first. The music and visuals shift, intensifying the dungeon's depth. Though still a 30 by 30 grid, winding paths and tougher enemies, particularly magic users and grim reapers with the deadly soul steel, demand caution and healing items. Key strategies include avoiding button mashing, especially against dangerous foes. Rotating platforms always lead left, and dark blocks need processing. Medallions offer convenient warp points when placed in lidless chests. The guide also highlights powerful magic like Blaze and Spark. Visual aids demonstrate navigating the maze, encountering armor statues, and utilizing rotating objects, dark blocks, and the medallion system. This page delves into the challenging third floor of the dungeon in Shining in the Darkness. As an expert gamer, I know this is a major hurdle, leaving only 2 floors left in the 5-story structure. The chaotic maze layout is clear from the map, segmented into 4 distinct blocks. The guide mentions this floor connects to both the 2nd and 4th floors. A tip is to start by tackling the widest area. Navigating the winding paths is tough, but medallions can be used strategically as warp points. Beyond the map, the page offers useful advice. If you fall into a pit, the rope item is essential to climb back out, as shown with screenshots. The powerful lightning sword is highlighted as a formidable weapon in the game's RPG combat, also noting its visual similarity to a shooting game laser. Finally, two monsters are introduced. The Browbar, a foe that bursts from the ground with strong arms, and the Siren, a water-based enemy known for its strength. The commentary also touches on the thrill of unexpected monster encounters during exploration. This page dives into the Sega Mega Drive port of the classic Toa Plan SHMUP Zero Wing. It points out that this version boasts an original opening sequence and ending, alongside enhanced background music compared to the arcade release. The guide kicks off by stressing the need to power up your ship, advising players to first grab the option unit, followed by the versatile homing missile. The page then breaks down the first two stages. Stage 1, Natals, features standard enemies and a durable mid-boss firing ring bullets. The final boss of Stage 1 is Hades, who barrages the screen with ring bullets. The recommended tactic is to shoot from the back and position yourself slightly to the left when above his head for safety. Stage 2, Regros, introduces a tricky element: indestructible pillars that constantly extend from the top and bottom, forcing players to navigate tight gaps. The stage also features a mid-range fighter mid-boss named Mark. Stage 2's final boss is Gaia, a mech that attacks with lasers and homing missiles and appears as two units consecutively, suggesting players use a bomb immediately upon the second unit's appearance. Screenshots accompany the descriptions, illustrating the gameplay and bosses. This page continues the guide for Zero Wing, detailing the challenges of stages 3 and 4. Stage 3, Pleiades, forces you through tight corridors leading to the boss. The guide suggests the gum missile makes quick work of early enemies. The mid-boss, Poulard, a long-range attack vessel with many turrets, appears next. The homing missile is effective here. The stage boss is Gunzer 603, a massive combat robot. It moves back and forth, unleashing lasers and standard rounds. This boss is quite tough, so you'll need powerful weapons to take it down efficiently. Stage 4, Access, has you flying over a giant battleship. The ship itself moves up and down, requiring careful pilotage to avoid crashes. Unique enemies like Gravas, created to exterminate the local bivels, attack with lasers. The boss is Logster, which separates from the battleship and acts as its brain, an ultracomputer. Logster has 6 gun ports firing 2 types of shots. Crucially, only the top 3 gun ports can be destroyed. The bottom 3 are invincible, so focus your fire on the vulnerable main body. This page continues the Zero Wing guide, moving into Stage 5, the submarine tunnel. Enemies increase significantly here, with tough initial foes requiring strong homing weapons. Large blue unmanned attack trains firing monolasers appear frequently. Their durability and attack power are comparable to mid-bosses, making them dangerous in pairs. Powerful weapons are essential. The mid-boss, Peace, attacks with a 5-way spread and constantly releases small enemies called Kururu. The guide suggests staying towards the rear of the screen to avoid the Kuru, and then throwing the Kuru back at Peace to damage it. The final boss is Garapiper, a legendary great snake protecting the Jewel of Life. To clear the stage, you must destroy either the Jewel of Life and its surrounding turrets, or defeat Garapiper directly. Garapiper is very durable, so destroying the turrets around the Jewel of Life is recommended if you lack bomber weapons. This page continues the guide for Zero Wing, covering Stage 6, known as Space Barricade. This stage features narrow passages that the player must navigate, constantly under threat from appearing enemies. A particularly challenging enemy is the spinning enemy that fires diagonal lasers, making them difficult to evade. The guide advises constantly using the capture beam, prisoner beam, to grab enemies, but warns against hitting walls with captured enemies. The stage introduces new enemy types. Under Air Characters, we see images and descriptions of floating enemies. Under Ground Characters, there are details on enemies that move along the terrain, including large creatures that break through barriers. One notable ground enemy is invincible and must be avoided. The mid-boss is the mysterious Duster, described as a phantom ship with no crew that attacks with wide-range shots and high-speed bullets that change direction. Staying towards the rear of the screen is suggested to dodge these attacks. The final boss encounter involves the appearance of multiple mini-Gaskin enemies before the main boss, Gaskin, arrives. Gaskin appears as 3 units simultaneously, firing lasers at the player and slowly advancing. To defeat Gaskin, it's recommended to attack from a laser blind spot, and quickly defeat one of the units before they get too close. The mini-Gaskins themselves fire short lasers and appear in groups. Quickly defeating them is key to making the boss fight easier. This page continues the guide for Zero Wing, focusing on stages 7 and 8. Stage 7, named Bellon, is highlighted for its high density of enemy fire, making recovery difficult if you're hit. A particularly annoying enemy is the skull-shaped Galamba, which scatters unbreakable fragments upon destruction, posing a significant threat in narrow areas. The stage features various air and ground enemies, including bat-like creatures and other monstrous forms. The boss of Stage 7 is EAV, a heavily armored creature that controls a large internal parasite. Elov approaches the player, extending the parasite, which splits and attacks directly after the boss takes some damage. The guide strongly recommends using maximum homing missile power for a quick defeat before EAV gets too close. The guide then moves on to Stage 8, the final stage. It warns that most enemies here cannot be captured by the prisoner beam. Before the final boss, players will encounter strong foes like the Red Lightning, unmanned vehicles that appear in groups of 3 firing wave shots. The mid-stage boss is Greenhead, described as a giant battle fortress covered in tough alloy, attacking with both standard shots and homing missiles. Defeating Greenhead is necessary to finally face the ultimate boss. This page features Mappy on the Sega Game Gear, highlighted as the 4th Game Gear title from Namco. The reviewer expresses excitement for Namco's consistent output on the handheld. Mappy, the classic arcade game from 7 years prior, is brought to the Game Gear with its charming characters and catchy music intact. The Game Gear version offers significant value by including 3 distinct game modes: the faithful recreation of the original Mappy arcade and NES experience, plus 2 new modes: Challenge of the Ancestor, and a Versus Mappy mode, allowing competitive play via the Game Gear Link cable. Screenshots showcase the classic gameplay layout, the new Challenge mode, and the score display for the Versus mode featuring Mappy and Goro. The game is rated positively across the board for game balance, visuals, and replayability, though the reviewer notes a slight delay in horizontal movement responsiveness compared to the original, which can feel a little off. Overall, it's considered a solid port and a welcome addition to the Game Gear's library, particularly for fans of classic arcade action. This page features reviews for 2 Game Gear titles. The first is Squeak, a French action game from Infogrames, ported by Victor. Described as a dote-eating type action game with a unique atmosphere, the goal is to restore Squeak's land from invaders. It features 99 stages and a password system, offering plenty of content. The reviewer finds it a bit difficult to evaluate, but notes its distinct feel compared to Japanese games. Screenshots show the title screen and gameplay across various levels. The second game reviewed is Ryukyu, a puzzle game focused on creating poker hands by strategically placing cards on a grid. It's noted as being closer to a PC Engine port than a PC version. The game includes multiple modes: a standard 1P mode, a try mode for challenging score limits, and a versus mode for competitive play. The reviewer suggests it's a game where players will have clear likes or dislikes, appreciating the strategic element of making rolls and its ample BGMs. Screenshots show the title screen, gameplay from the 1P and try modes, and the mode selection screen. This page features several upcoming Game Gear titles. The first is Wagonland, a platformer that's a sequel to the Famicom games, introducing new elements and building on the series' charming design. Screenshots show the bright, colorful platforming action. Next is Putt and Putter, a unique take on golf from Sega. It's described as blending golf and pinball elements with obstacles like gates and quicksand on the course, requiring strategic use of the environment to sink the ball. Screenshots show isometric views of tricky holes. Finally, there's Griffin from Nihon Telenet, a promising shooting game. You control a mech battling enemy forces. The reviewer notes Telenet's signature inclusion of dangerous graphics, featuring girls upon clearing stages, alongside the mech gameplay. Screenshots show the top-down shooter view and a character portrait. The G.G hotline section discusses competitive gaming on the Game Gear. Despite the system supporting it, the reviewer feels players haven't fully embraced this aspect. They highlight the competitive modes in Pac-Man and Columns as particularly fun and exciting, transforming familiar gameplay into thrilling head-to-head battles. They also mention Truxton and the Pro Baseball 91 as top picks for competitive play. The section includes an image of 2 Game Gears linked together. This page covers Sega Game Library titles available via the Mega Modem service. First up is the complete version of Pyramid Magic, a puzzle game where you navigate rooms inside a pyramid, collecting treasure. This final release adds features like needing a talisman to defeat ghosts, to clear stages, and passwords for continues, improving upon the earlier trial version. Next is Megamind, an adaptation of the classic Mastermind board game. The computer selects a sequence of 4 characters from 7 options, and you must deduce the sequence. The game provides hints based on your guesses, indicating correct characters and positions. It's a pure logic and deduction challenge. Looking ahead, the page details upcoming titles for the service.
A sequel, Pyramid Magic 2, is announced, promising increased difficulties. There's also a unique program offering access to BGM from unreleased Sega games, specifically highlighting music from Bonanza Bros. And Sonic the Hedgehog, a treat for fans wanting a preview. Finally, the second game Grand Prix winner is revealed to be Columns, a great opportunity for players who may have missed the retail release.
This page features Volume 14 of the Tips League section, continuing from the previous issue's layout update. This recurring feature provides various gameplay tips and tricks from Mega Drive titles. Several games are highlighted with useful secrets. For Midnight Resistance, there's a trick to perform a stage skip, allowing players to advance quickly through the game. WrestleWar players can learn how to select hidden, powerful teams by holding specific button combinations on the team selection screen, adding depth to the fighting roster. For the Mahjong game Jantu Monogatari, a tip reveals how to make the opponent's tiles visible, offering a significant strategic advantage during matches. The classic shooter Twin Cobra, known as Kyukyoku Tiger in Japan, has tips for accessing an instant ending and a stage select feature, allowing players to jump to preferred levels or see the conclusion easily. There's also a tip for a baseball game, referred to as grass baseball, detailing how players show exaggerated joy after scoring. Finally, Dynamite Duke includes a hidden element. By waiting after firing one shot in the first round, a mysterious UFO appears. Shooting it down is said to make powerful weapons appear more frequently. This section offers a variety of secrets to enhance gameplay across different genres. This page delves further into the reader-submitted Tips League, showcasing secrets for several Mega Drive games. For the action platformer Valis 2i, multiple hidden modes are revealed, accessible by holding specific button combinations on the title screen. These include a sound select mode to listen to the game's music and sound effects, a visual select mode allowing players to view various cutscenes or even jump straight to the ending, and a map select feature that lets you warp to any of the game's 24 stages. Screenshots show the selection screens for these modes. The classic dungeon crawler Shining in the Darkness also gets some useful tricks. One tip details a significant money glitch. By trying to repair an item at the shop when you don't have enough gold, you can trigger a massive increase in your money, potentially reaching millions. Another tip provides an MP saving method for navigating the dungeons. By deliberately moving into a corner and hitting the wall before changing direction, you can avoid the usual MP cost associated with movement turns. The page concludes by outlining the prizes awarded to the winning tip submitters in the Tips League, categorized by rank, First Army, Second Army, etc. Prizes include game software and various gift certificates.
It also provides instructions on how readers can submit their own gameplay secrets.
This page is the final installment of the Kizoku's Small Room column by Ikeda Kizoku, presented as part of the Pleasure World series. This chapter is titled The Godzilla Chapter.
The main focus is on the charm and value of old toys from the Showa 30s and 40s. Ikeda Kizoku visits a toy store in Koenji, meeting the owner, Mr. Kizuki, who shares his passion for antique toys. The store is filled with valuable items like Transforming Cyborg series, Bazooka, Kanegon, and Gold Light-In. They discuss how collecting escalated for Mr. Kizuki, turning his display into a store. The article highlights the scarcity of these toys in Japan at the time, as most were for export. Toys like soft vinyl monsters, Kamen Rider items, Ultraman Ace, and Kikaider are specifically mentioned as favorites from that era, along with tin toys, G.I. Joe, and even Glico Omake. A separate section titled Kizoku's Whisper offers a philosophical reflection on life's purpose, destiny, and the importance of enjoying each day without unnecessary worry about the future, encouraging self-acceptance and finding joy. This page continues the discussion on vintage toys from the previous page's Kizoku's Small Room column, highlighting the dramatic increase in value for items like Ultraman's Hayata member figure, originally 350 yen and now worth 120,000 yen. The conversation with Mr. Kizuki covers other valuable toys such as Kikaider,
a super alloy Mazinger Z, and a giant Cyclops. Images show several of these antique figures and their packaging. A reader mail section, Love Letter Corner, appears, noting this is the final installment. Readers send in messages, asking about album titles, discussing music like rap, and seeking advice. The This Month's Software column briefly touches upon fighting games like Cutesy Suzuki's Ringside Angel, and recommends the RPG Shining in the Darkness, featuring a screenshot from its first-person dungeon exploration gameplay. Finally, the Kizoku's Horror Diary shares a peculiar personal anecdote about a strange, perhaps supernatural experience on the way home from the station. The page concludes with a photo of Ikeda Kizoku, offering a farewell message to the readers. This page features the second installment of a hard-boiled mystery titled Hyper Sega, the adventure surrounding Rad Mobile SV. The story follows a private detective from the Sotokanda General Credit Detective Agency, who takes on a case to find a special SV version of Sega's immersive driving game, Rad Mobile. This particular version is said to have a hidden 21st stage, only accessible at a specific time on a specific date. The detective, accompanied by an hourly helper from an AM center, travels to Sega World Setsu Wings in Miyagi Prefecture. The arcade is described as a large location designed to resemble a 1950s American streetscape, complete with pedestrian decks and 9 themed buildings. Photos showcase this atmosphere with arcade cabinets, mannequins styled in 50s clothing evoking American graffiti, and even a decorative hang glider hanging from the ceiling, emphasizing the unique environment where this mystery unfolds. The core of the investigation revolves around finding the elusive Rad Mobile SV within this distinctly themed arcade. This page continues the hard-boiled mystery, Hyper Sega, the adventure surrounding Rad Mobile SV. The detective and a jockey visit Sega World Setsu Wings, an arcade designed like a 1950s American streetscape, aiming to find the elusive Rad Mobile SV. They meet the kind manager, who expresses his desire to make the arcade a welcoming place for families. After confirming Rad Mobile SV is not at this location, their investigation leads them to a bar in downtown Sendai. The page also showcases the impressive Sega R360 arcade cabinet, noted as being the only one in the Tohoku region at the time. A carnival-style game corner is also pictured. A separate feature, My Investigation Memo, the Girl Chapter, introduces 2 young women from the area. Lastly, the Checkpoint section, presented as news from the detective agency, calls for reader submissions regarding Sega information or game investigation requests, offering prizes including a Sega Game Gear for selected entries, and promising free investigations for interesting, particularly cute requests. This page features a look at some hot video games, specifically highlighting Spank's ASO 2, Last Guardian, and Namco's Lampart. The main focus is on ASO 2, described as a highly anticipated shooting game for the Neo Geo from SNK, praised for its astonishingly detailed graphics. The article delves into the game's core mechanic, the 11 distinct power armors. Players can acquire these armors using in-game currency, or by collecting duplicates. And each armor provides a different power-up for the ship. The armors come in ground, air, or combined attack types, emphasizing the strategic importance of choosing the right armor for the situation. The page includes a table detailing each armor's effect and value. Screenshots of ASO 2 gameplay are also shown, demonstrating the game's visual style. The reviewer notes that while the game is visually impressive, the inclusion of more innovative gameplay elements would make it even better. Lampart is listed as the second game covered, though details about it appear to be on a different page. This guide explores the Sega Genesis shooter, Troubleshooter, Battlemania in Japan. It details the game's power-up system, where destroying enemies drops items like laser up, missile up, one-ups, warps, and gold for the shop. A power-down item also exists, decreasing your abilities. Stage 1 features a simple layout, emphasizing item collection to prepare for later challenges. A key strategy involves completing weapon sets by collecting 3 of the same type before picking up different items. Armor, purchased with gold, is crucial. Stage 2 intensifies the difficulty, including a space battleship and challenging bosses. The guide offers strategies for navigating the stage and battling bosses, cautioning against power downs beforehand. The page includes screenshots of the environments, highlighting the game's visuals. This page dives deeper into Stage 2 of Troubleshooter, highlighting the massive floating battleship that serves as the stage's initial major encounter. You must destroy its various parts before you can tackle the main body and enter the ship. The enemy attacks here are significantly more intense than in Stage 1. A key strategy is to destroy turrets on the combined parts, which reveals crucial connecting machines that must be eliminated before the battleship's core can be damaged. Ground attacks also become fiercer, with many pyramids on the ground yielding essential armor parts and record items when destroyed, so make sure to collect them to boost your defense. Later, you'll face intense ground enemy assaults, requiring you to observe and dodge incoming projectiles. The stage culminates in a boss battle. This boss moves left and right, firing wide lasers at regular intervals. Mastering the dodge pattern is vital to defeat it. As you pass the halfway point inside the battleship, be prepared for a hail of falling projectiles you'll need to weave through on your way to the final boss. There are also ground enemies that move back and forth on pipes. Learn their predictable movement patterns to evade their attacks effectively. The page also includes the first entry in an industry worker corner, featuring Midori Nasu from Sync's Tokyo office, who works in publicity for games like Fatal Fury 2, described as having a charming personality both professionally and personally. This page introduces the game Rampart, describing it as a simulation game, accessible and enjoyable for everyone. The core gameplay blends battle and puzzle elements, where you must build walls around your castles to expand your territory. Enemy cannons will destroy your walls, and repairing them involves fitting different shaped blocks into the damaged sections, adding a puzzle challenge. The game features a turn-based structure. You attack, then the enemy attacks, and finally, you get a turn to repair. As the game progresses, enemy ships approach the shore and land troops who invade and attempt to destroy your castle. Successfully defending against these invaders is key, and difficulty increases with each stage. Strategic placement is crucial, particularly for your cannons, which should be positioned based on where enemies attack from, whether from the sea or the land. Failing to repair your walls within the time limit results in a game over, while successful repair allows you to expand your territory. The magazine highlights the excitement of the two-player mode, stating it offers more strategic depth and intensity compared to playing against the computer. A specific winning technique mentioned involves targeting the ends of opponents' walls during attacks, making their subsequent repair phase much more difficult due to limited block patterns available for those positions. This page features a reader gift campaign offering a variety of prizes. To enter, readers need to complete the survey postcard included in the issue. The gifts include several games. First, there's the Mega Drive game Langrisser, known internationally as Warsong, a unique simulation RPG where allies are controlled by the computer, with 5 copies available. Next, Shikinjo for Mega Drive, a puzzle game involving matching characters to clear the screen, also with 5 copies up for grabs. Another Mega Drive title, Bonanza Brothers, the popular action game featuring the clumsy duo, is being given to 5 lucky readers. For the Game Gear, 3 copies of the GG Shinobi are available, bringing the popular ninja action to the handheld. The classic arcade game Mappy is also offered for the Game Gear, with 3 copies including original stages. Rounding out the Game Gear titles is Squeak, an action game where you change tile colors within a time limit. 3 copies are available. Beyond games, the campaign offers merchandise. 20 readers can win the Techno Soft Music Collection Volume 3, which features music from Thunder Force 2i. There are 5 Street Fighter II posters, celebrating the iconic and popular fighting game. 3 copies of the Heavy Unit Sound Charger Music CD are offered, promising impactful sound from the game Heavy Unit. Finally, 20 readers can win a Veritex telephone card, featuring the Veritex Mega Drive shooter game logo. The next page features a vibrant, abstract illustration depicting a festive scene with a robot character. The primary focus is a commentary on Sega's RPG, Shining in the Darkness. The magazine notes the game's strong sales performance, but also acknowledges reader feedback, suggesting a lack of innovation or predictable gameplay. Despite some criticism, it's highlighted as a game that generated significant buzz, demonstrating that impactful software can resonate widely. Shining in the Darkness was released on June 8th. The page also includes a question line for readers to contact the magazine about its content. Additionally, it provides instructions on how to fill out the reader survey postcard for the gift campaign, asking about demographics, game purchases including Warsong, Kageki, Sengokushi Retsuden, and Wardner no Mori Special, desired Sega Clydrom titles, anticipated June releases, wanted ports, and their opinions on the best or worst Mega Drive game. This page features the key artwork for the classic vertical scrolling shooter, Raiden Trad. Published by Micronet, the prominent image displays the sleek red fighter jet from the game, set against a dynamic sky. The title is shown both in its Japanese form, Raiden Densetsu, and the international title, Raiden Trad. Several small inset screenshots offer a preview of the gameplay, showcasing different environments like a military base, a forest area, and a naval battle, giving players a taste of the intense top-down combat featured in the arcade port. This page continues showcasing the classic vertical shooter, Raiden Trad, for the Sega Mega Drive. The vibrant artwork features the iconic Raiden fighter jet soaring above a massive explosion, reinforcing the game's intense combat theme. The text details the game's premise, set in AD 2090, where Earth is invaded by alien life forms. Following devastating battles, the World Allied Government reverse engineers destroyed enemy aircraft to create the powerful super high-altitude fighter bomber, the Raiden, but only one pilot capable of handling it remains. Now the fate of the Earth rests on this single fighter jet as it launches to face the threat. The page also features taglines like, "Returning to the origin," "Surpassing the origin," and "This is a legitimate shooting game," finally appearing on Mega Drive. It announces the game's release date of July 6th, its price of 8,800 yen, and states it is an 8 megabit game for one player. Copyright is noted as Micronet 1991 and 1991 Seibu Kaihatsu, Inc., indicating its arcade origins. This page showcases Dragon's Fury, known as Devil Crash in Japan, a dark fantasy pinball game developed by Technosoft and Naxatsoft. The striking artwork features a woman's face within a monstrous skull or helmet, hinting at the game's macabre theme. Large Japanese text proclaims it the Hall of Pinball and announces its approaching. The page highlights its upcoming debut at the Tokyo Toy Show on June 9th, where it will be playable for the first time at booth number 4403. A small photo shows 4 young women, likely involved in the promotion at the event, with text mentioning Gals Club awaits visitors. This page serves as an early promotional announcement for this unique pinball title that would later gain popularity for its distinct style and gameplay on the Sega Mega Drive. This page is a full-page advertisement for Technosoft's fantasy action shooter, Elemental Master, for the Sega Mega Drive, announcing its release following Thunder Force 2i. This page features 2 upcoming releases for the Sega Mega Drive, highlighted by the comedic action game Bonanza Bros. Scheduled for release on May 17th for 6,000 yen. The game puts you in the shoes of a pair of clumsy spies, tasked with infiltrating heavily guarded locations like mansions and casinos to steal evidence within a time limit. A key feature shown is the simultaneous 2-player split-screen mode. Also featured is the strategy game Advanced Daisenryaku, Germany Blitzkrieg Operation, releasing on June 21st for 8,700 yen, notable for including battery backup. The page is part of a magazine from June 1991, showcasing new games for the system.